night. My niece was over, grilled up some steaks, and did the shrimp. You get the shrimp and crush. What we did is we crushed the pork rinds up in a baggie, and then took an egg and some Parmesan, put it in a bowl, mix that together, put the shrimp in there, and then drop the shrimp after it had been in the egg into the bag, and then we baked it for about 12 minutes, and they were spectacular. I mean, and I use the pasilla chili cheese flavors. I mean, and that's the kind of cool thing is if you think about all the different flavors that they have, each one is going to taste obviously different. But the pasilla chili cheese are my favorite, and those shrimp last night were incredible. There's none left.
All right. Worthy pursuit. If you're looking for that recipe, you can go to Southern Recipes Small Batch Pork, or it's porkrinds.com. Either one, you can find a list of recipes you can use there. It's really, really cool. Today, we got a lot to talk about in the sports world, but the most important thing I think for most in San Antonio is those brand new uniforms. I was a stick in the mud for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't like remembering that era, especially as it appears we're about to head back into that era. But I'll tell you what, the unis look cool. Now, the next question is, who the hell's going to be wearing them when we get started? Because, my goodness, the trade rumors are bouncing off the walls like a pinball. They're coming fast and furious. Philadelphia, there's like 7 possible scenarios. Last I heard, we're trading half of our team, and we're going to get Carson Wentz and a Philly to be named later, and most of the 76ers. If you the number of players.
If they're going to open up a location, I'm all good with doing a deal for Philly. And one of them's a bad deal. But if we can get a Jim Steaks or an Ishkabibbles here, I'm down with that. But if you go Pats and Geno's in this, you can keep Carson Wentz and everything else in Philadelphia. But if you give me an Ishkabibbles in this deal, I think we'd be onto something.
If you just get an opportunity to say Ishkabibble on a regular basis, your life improves. We're going to look a lot at the NBA and the trade rumors there for sure, but we got some great guests lined up for you today. Jim Grey. Yeah, that guy, the GOAT, the guy that has interviewed and done everything throughout a long and illustrious career, has a brand new book coming out called Talking to Goats. Bah. I didn't know he had some farming in the background, but he's kind of delved off. He took a left field, and he's trying something. We're doing a favor. No, of course, he's interviewed everybody doing most everything in the sports world. Gained notoriety with that LeBron taking his talents, and it certainly was highlighted in a recent documentary. But we will look at all the things that he's done. Jim Gray's going to join us and talk about a brand new book that he's got coming out. That'll be in the 5 o'clock hour, right after 5:15. Andrew Monaco will be here. The Aggies don't have a game, but as the SEC is in turmoil, at least on hold in turmoil, and college football cracking apart, we'll look at the Aggies prospects as they sit at number 5 in the country. Possibility for a playoff? Smells good, doesn't it? And, of course, we'll look around the college football world with Taylor McHargue just after 6 o'clock. Jason, today is Friday the 13th. And when we first spoke, the first thing that came out of your mouth was, man, I'm having one of those days. Triskaidekaphobia, is it?
It's whatever you want to call it. It's just been one of those days where, you're busy, but you don't feel like you've got much done. I don't know. But it is Friday the 13th. Nothing bad has happened. It's a day that I normally celebrate. And maybe that's why, because normally I get a bunch of calls and texts from friends and, cards in the mail. I didn't get any of that. Nothing.
I don't. Why would you be getting cards?
Because my name is Jason. It's Friday the 13th. That joke just went right over your head.
It did.
Never mind. Never mind.
By me. I was like, oh my God, did I forget a birthday? Did I forget something? I was like, I was frightened there for just a second.
Never mind.
Well, I understand it, and I'm going to watch the marathon later tonight.
Are you really?
It's going to be on one of the commercial channels, so I'll obviously record them, so I don't have to watch those things.
Yes.
Those abominations. But I was looking at what was coming up, and it was like, the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. And they literally popped those out one year after another. It was like 80, 81, 82, 83. I remember them, but I think I gave up on them after a while. I didn't know there'd been so many Friday the 13th.
Well, there's 71. I mean, they were in competition with Rocky. And so every time there was a new Rocky, there was a new Friday the 13th. And, they just kept the box office popping. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to.
Have you ever been to the scary places around San Antonio? You ever been down to the Trestles?
I've been to the Trestles. I put the baby powder on the bumper and nothing happened.
Did you get a kiss later?
I might have.
Oh, there you go. See, that's what everybody talks about, the Trestles. Nobody talks about what happened before or after the Trestles. That's why we all remember the Trestles.
I mean,
so
there's
fondly.
the lure to go, and then the reason you go. I mean, they're two different things.
Let's go find a very dark and scary place and park the car. Oh, not to. I mean, we're going to be afraid. Of course,
hear
that's
that?
why we remember.
Did
So
you hear that?
well, I'm just telling you. We all laugh about the trestles. Nobody talked about what were you doing down at the trestles. What else? The chicken foot guy down on off of Highway 90, the guy that was supposed to be the devil that danced all night long. That's a San Antonio legend, right? You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. 656-3776, 656 ESPN, San Antonio legends. I'm trying to come up with. Remember, for those of an age, do you remember Midget Mansion? That would have been something that I would have hit on Friday the 13th. We would all gone out and think we were finding some really scary place in the middle of the woods and showed up. And there had been 100 other people there doing the same thing.
No, I don't know about this Midget Mansion. Although if it's that spot off of Austin Highway, because there is an odd
place is scary.
There is an odd place off of Austin Highway that maybe every third Thursday it could be Midget Mansion. I don't, because there's lots of weird stuff going. And when you drive by it is always very weird.
I spent a terrifying afternoon out at that place. It was I don't know what's going on. It was one of those. What's the name of that place? I don't want to defame it. I should name it.
Right? Black Swan.
Yeah, something like that.
The Black Swan Inn. Is that it?
Black Swan.
The Black Swan Inn.
It's over off of Austin Highway. And when I say off Austin Highway, it's off Austin Highway, like back up in the woods off of a barely paved road. They're trying to improve it back up in there, but it's a little scary, a little sketch. Well, but it's a mansion that's been out there for forever. It's got to be 100 years old, and it's beautiful, antebellum kind of thing, but horrifying. It is exactly the kind of movie set that you'd expect some kind of grisly murder to occur. We went for some afternoon thing, and we were milling around this house, and it's like the windows are open, the doors are open, the breezes are blowing, and it's not a cleanly place. And then the caretaker sitting downstairs, we're like, well, trying to get some info on the place, the history, and she didn't know, but she goes, the owners are upstairs. You're like, people live here? My God. I was expecting to see like a shadow upstairs as I walked out.
Here's a couple things. Now, the radio station is not far from there, so
it's very close.
We back in the day when we actually went to the studio, there are lots of strange things that you see on Austin Highway and Eisenhower and that part of town. So my first thought is, you recently did this, and I remember you telling us this story, and I remember asking you then. I'll ask you again. As soon as somebody said, "Let's go to this thing that's at the Black Swan Inn," why didn't you say no? I mean, why did you not say, I drive bad. Mom, I got to do you a favor. Mom, I know you want to go.
Know.
I know it sounds good, but we ain't going over there. I mean, it's weird, man. You take a left or a right off Eisenhower coming off Austin Highway, and you're like going to a different part of the world. Like it is nuts that's that close to where we work.
Yeah, but that's been there 100 years. I mean, I had no idea, and it was one of those things where when you look at your Airbnb with the photos that were taken for the Airbnb don't quite match at all what you actually see at the Airbnb. There were those kind of photos, and one of the local newspaper like a Current or something like that, and they were having some kind of, we understood it to be some kind of outdoor arts festival. That turned out to be three macrame dudes that smelled like patchouli and weed, and another girl that was offering some kind of weird macrame stuff. And on top of this, we had
like an art festival.
Some other woman just sitting there like offering drinks. Like, would you like care for the little whatever?
There was no false advertising. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like.
And then there was like this row of abandoned cars, and you felt like those were shoppers that got here before me.
But you survived. You survived.
Okay. I am eager, and somebody out there has a memory of the Midget Mansion. I have a vague memory of where it was and the lore behind it, but I need it reinforced. Did a wealthy circus midget have something to do with the building of that house? Am I remembering that wrong? 656-3776.
I don't. There used to be this place. What was it called over off San Pedro that used to have like midget wrestling every Thursday night or something? That's all I got. That's. I don't remember a Midget Mansion, but I remember watching
this was early
midget
80s
wrestling
stuff.
in the mid 90s over there off of San Pedro. I'm just
that lends itself to a lot of questions, man. Was that like the opening act or was that the closing act?
No, that was their shtick. It was midget wrestling. It was legit.
I don't think we're allowed to say that anymore.
Wrestling.
I was actually counseled. I spent some time in a radio ethics for speaking those terms.
Well, that was the term that it was billed at.
I know.
It's the name of the business.
We don't mean to mock. We just go with what we've learned until we have to relearn it, and I had to relearn it, and we don't say that kind of thing, Jason.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So what
we do
what
say.
Now?
I've stayed at the Manger.
I am going to come. Well, there's another one, the Manger bar, and the maid upstairs. I forget that lore. I'm trying to see. That's it. Rodolfo, if you're on our ESPNSA.com feed there on our page or on Facebook, Renee Midget Mansion there where the Lowe's is right there at Callahan. That's what I remember.
Wait, is it still over there? Is it still over
there?
there?
No, the Lowe's, when they built the Lowe's.
They knocked it down?
Yeah, they built a parking lot over Paradise that was Midget Mansion. It was back up in there.
Uh-huh.
It was the strangest idea. But the story was it was like a wealthy little person that had made a lot of money and built a house to his scale. And I don't know if that's true, but it is part of the San Antonio story. There it is. Southwest Championship Wrestling. You got a guy that is of the like. When we come back, let's talk San Antonio Spurs. Number one, the most important thing, we know what they're wearing. And if you look good, you feel good, and you play good, right? They're bringing back the era. Is it a good thing or bad? And then let's look at who might actually be wearing them on December the 1st when everything begins. So hold on tight. We're talking Spurs right around the corner here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, it's Friday. You're going to a high school football stadium. You know you're going to get yourself a great Kielbasa sausage wrap this weekend. You fire up the grill. You want the best, you get Kielbasa sausage. You know it is the very best when you're buying Kielbasa brand sausage. And you know Kielbasa Smoked Meats is now taking orders for a Thanksgiving favorite, the Kielbasa Smoked Hams. Kielbasa slow smokes their hams for legendary flavor. These hams are exclusively available to purchase at Kielbasa's headquarters down on South Brazos Street, and they do sell out fast. Call Kielbasa at 1-800-456-LINK, L-I-N-K, and reserve your ham today. They're going to be ready for pickup the week of Thanksgiving. Again, you can only order them if you call or go down to their headquarters there on South Brazos Street. The number again, 1-800-456-LINK. And while that's only available at their headquarters, those great hams for the holidays, you know you can get Kielbasa sausage, Kielbasa bacon, Kielbasa chorizo, and those great Kielbasa breakfast links at an H-E-B near you. You know you're going to fire up the grill this weekend. Go get some Kielbasa today.
Game Night San Antonio's Silver and Black draft coverage is brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom. Join the Blitz starting at 5:30 Wednesday as they get you ready for the NBA draft coverage that starts at 6. Everything you need to know going into one of the biggest drafts for the Silver and Black in recent memory.
For 20 years, Smoky Mo's Barbecue has become a neighborhood favorite by serving up your favorite real pit smoked barbecue, brisket, turkey, sausage, pork loin. This Thanksgiving, let Smoky Mo's do the cooking. Try Smoky Mo's whole smoked turkeys. You can order turkey only or get the complete meal with turkey, cornbread stuffing, mashed potatoes, and green bean casserole. Pecan and pumpkin pies are also available. Pre-order your Thanksgiving feast today online at SmokyMo'sBarbecue.com or at any one of the 7 area Smoky Mo's Barbecue locations. Those who know, eat at Smoky Mo's.
You love Southern Recipe small batches, bold pork rind flavors. Whether it's their spicy dill, Korean kimchi barbecue, or pasilla chili cheese, they've got the keto-friendly protein-packed snack that crushes all others. Want to win $5,000 plus Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for a whole year? Enter at porkrinds.com right now. Porkrinds.com. Plus, you'll have a chance to win a one-on-one conversation with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And while you're at H-E-B, grab a bag of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds.
After an extraordinary year like this one, Diamonds Direct believes it's time for an extraordinary sale. So starting Monday, November 16th, our annual pre-holiday store-wide sale is taken to a whole new level with 20% and more across-the-board savings. Best prices of 2020 with an expanded selection from all our top designers. It's not 2 or 3 days. It's an entire week of pre-holiday savings, November 16th through 22nd. Our first ever week-long store-wide sale. Don't miss it. 7 straight days of spectacular savings only at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, announces you will save on really dark window tint. It's perfectly legal to have really, really dark window tint. Mother's has it all: light, medium, dark, metallized, color stable, scratch resistant, ceramic, and carbon fiber based films. Every tint is a custom fit tint at Mother's Window Tint. Save $100. Save on car alarms that will protect yourself and your family. 24/7 live vehicle monitoring. Remote start your car. Mother's alarm systems provide the features not found on factory alarms. Plus, Mother sells car stereos that will make your car go thump, thump, thump. Mother Thump. Save $100 since 1984. Service centers in Austin and San Antonio. Check us out on Facebook or our website, motherswindowtint.com. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
There's no place like home for the holidays, or HomeDepot.com for holiday decor, with Black Friday prices inside and out, like artificial Christmas trees starting at just $39.98, or outside lights and playful inflatables to bring joy to the neighborhood. Order online, and you'll even get free delivery. Holiday decorating improved with a wide assortment of holiday decor from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Free standard shipping on most online orders over $45. Some exclusions apply while supplies last.
Javier's Auto Body is colliding with a shortage of licensed techs.
That 2017 is waiting on a clear coat. That 09 needs its left rear sanded, pounded, and painted. And the guy over there is waiting on an estimate.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
It is the Blitz here on ESPN San Antonio. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. The O'Reilly Auto Parts mobile studios rolled out the heroes for Jason. He's got a big football game tonight. Johnson and Madison at 7 o'clock. Special color commentator this evening. San Antonio legend, gadabout, man about town, and a handsome devil to beat. Richard Oliver is going to do the game with Jason Minix tonight. I'm excited about this one.
The king of all media is getting out of the house. He's going to join us here at the stadium. It'll be a lot of fun talking with Richard Oliver.
I'm glad. I'm going to play Harry Carey today.
Why are you reaching back and grabbing a bottle of Jim Beam? I'm just
somebody
curious.
asked me if it is
It's
cough
Robitussin.
I need a little tussin.
Oh,
Every now and then, need a little tussin to kind of lower the, take care of the microbes and whatnot.
I understand.
We want to thank Jim Beam and Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar and Alamo Cycleplex for sponsoring our Rock the Mic contest. We unveiled our final four, our finalists last night. Next week will be feats of strength and daring, and we're going to whittle ourselves down to a Rock the Mic champion. We're excited about that. We want to thank all of our sponsors for being a part of that, and especially Jim Beam for offering me this fine Jim Beam Black. I imagine we're going to mix a drink with this next week.
Next week, next Thursday, you're going to have to use that bottle. So make sure it still has something in it next Thursday.
Is that another wild card?
This is iced tea, guys. This is just
that really
prop.
is.
It's not. I mean, it's prop stuff. This is like that fake glass that I could crack over my head and it won't cut me.
So, Is that what
I'm
it is?
Place it gingerly here and carry on. So the Spurs finally did it. The rumors.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
end
Michael,
today.
you are still in play, my friend.
Thursday.
You have one last week, and there will be no recount. You're going to have to exit the office, my friend. There'll be no questions asked. You will vacate as appropriate, and the next will take his role as the Rock the Mic 2020 champion. Sorry, Mike, but you got to go to work anyway. You got a Sunday show to host. Spurs finally did it. We've seen this jersey floating around for 20 years. I mean, we've always wanted something new and unique with the Spurs. I'll tell you what, having anything other than silver, black, gray, or white on a uniform, it's kind of nice not to actually join the color scale above and beyond anything else. Then they made it, if they were going to do it, at least they did it the Spurs way. It's not crazy. It looks good. I'm in.
It looks good. I'm glad. I don't know if you're in or you've just said, you know what, screw it. I don't like it, but I'm tired of fighting and everybody gets mad at me because you're the one guy that doesn't like it. I got that T-shirt that they did a couple years last year, and you're like, why do you wear that? I don't like it. I don't like it. And now you're telling me it's good.
We used to have a lane that was either pink or baby blue, and David Robinson was called the Little Mermaid. It looked like a playpen down there, and rightfully so. And we would choke at every big game. Remember that building, that era was shut down by a Charles Barkley shot at the buzzer. I mean, there's really no fond memory of that color, of that color scheme and era, other than it is relatively cool in hindsight, but it's going to still be difficult to see them roll out there in that.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I wanted every game, and you know, when you look at the, what do they call it, the city edition or whatever, I think it's good, but you know, it's not the regular, right? It's this isn't the new
have the Spurs ever had any color on their uniforms other than these?
Well, remember when they went with those weird camo jerseys, and there was no color on those?
I'm talking other than silver, but a gradation of black or gray, all the way from black to white.
I forget what, it wasn't that long ago that they did roll out in a little red, white, and blue, the old Dallas Chaparrals logo.
That's right. That's right.
They did that a couple of years ago. And it was kind of strange because nobody remembers them as the Dallas Chaparrals. It looked more like they were dressing as Austin Westlake. And again, that's just as bad in San Antonio. But that's the only time they've had color that I can remember in their uniforms in recent memory.
No, they also had the military edition ones that were camo, like like green, and they weren't the black. They had a green version of it.
Well, it was it was camo, but camo doesn't count as like colors. In color,
no, I don't think
you're supposed to hide.
You said other than silver and black and white.
Camo, yeah, I'm with you, but what I'm talking about is something with a little flair, a little panache, a little something extra, something to match your shoelaces to.
That doesn't jive with the Spurs, man.
That's the odd thing about it. And you know what will be even stranger? You want to talk about surreal and a little bit of I don't know. What if they draft James Wiseman and you see them come walking out in the fast breaking Fiesta colors? Wiseman gets a high and tight fade haircut, strolls out in some super high top Nikes. It'll be like time redone, man. Let me watch David Robinson walk out on the court those many years ago, skinny and long and ready for a long and industrious career. Let's hope that is the case. But the color scheme is back, and universally, man, I've not seen any complaints. You remember when they busted out those super shiny aluminum foil ones a couple of years back?
Silver ones, yeah.
That was a bold step. That was a bold move there, Cotton. That didn't. They looked like they were getting ready to get in a microwave. They were wrapped in aluminum foil.
Remember, and the players hated them because the material that was used. All of those were awful. But you're right. I mean, everybody has wanted these, and the Spurs even said that on Twitter. Something about, you asked for them. You've been asking for them. Here they are. They listen to their fans. But even my daughter in Phoenix was like, Christmas? Oh,
yeah.
And like, yeah. I mean, that's where they are. I mean,
did
all
you
the
see
people
the
that had
debut
these bootleg ones, that you could buy at corner gas stations in certain parts of town. I wonder what they're going to do now. They won't have the ability to do that now.
They will tomorrow. Are you kidding me? I'll meet you on the corner of, let's see, what would be the best place?
Eisenhower Flea Market tomorrow.
No, you got
Southwest
to go.
Military over there by Southwest General
Roosevelt?
Hospital.
Down there, okay.
Yeah.
There, or maybe Hildebrand and Blanco, somewhere along in there. No, maybe on the other side of Hildebrand. I know where to go.
Down near SAC, right,
They
like
still
right
have
across from Hog Wild Records, they'll be available somewhere.
It's the same tent. They still got the I Want Some Nasty shirts hanging up there. They had a few left over, so you can get that. You can get a couple of the fast breaking Fiesta shirts. They're out tomorrow, baby. That's our economy. Get busy, guys. I'm ready. Let's go get them. Hey, coming back, Andrew Monaco is going to join us, looking at an off week for the Aggies as they were preparing for Tennessee. The SEC's had a lot of cancellations, postponements, should I say, as has the rest of college football. We'll catch up with Andrew and all things Aggie coming up next, because you're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Do you have a retirement plan? No matter your age or how close you are to retirement, you need a plan to make sure you don't run out of money. Jason Minnick's here for Pax Financial Group. At Pax Financial Group, they know you want to be financially prepared. In order to do that, you need trusted guidance. At PAX, they have the experience and tools to crunch your retirement numbers and get the answers you need. If you have a plan, let PAX double-check all your numbers. At PAX, they believe everybody deserves to be hopeful about their future. They understand why it is important for families to protect their hard-earned money, and a key reason they're a trusted financial advisor for so many families over the past decade. Connect with PAX Financial Group. Call them 210-881-5700. 881-5700, or go to the website paxfinancialgroup.com, PAX financialgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered by Pax Financial Group, LLC.
Game Night San Antonio Silver and Black Draft coverage is brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom. Join the Blitz starting at 5:30 Wednesday as they get you ready for the NBA draft coverage that starts at 6. Everything you need to know going into one of the biggest drafts for the Silver and Black in recent memory.
This ESPN San Antonio college football update brought to you by Dos Equis, a most interesting beer.
Good morning, everybody. Let's have a seat and let's get started with our morning meeting.
Joel, give me a moment to share a brilliant idea with the staff.
Fine, go ahead. Don't say I didn't warn you.
In honor of your American football season, I've come up with a plan for all Quarter Moon employees to wear these Quarter Moon football jerseys and Quarter Moon caps, handing out Quarter Moon mini footballs. And that we carry in these Quarter Moon fanny packs.
Nigel, you better run now. In Texas, football is serious, and at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and Air Conditioning, we are serious about fixing those everyday plumbing, AC, and heating issues. So it's in the middle of a game or in the middle of something important with a family or friends, you won't have to wait long to have your problem solved. See our Quarter Moon trucks with the Outhouse logo all over town.
Joel, could you give me a hand? The boys have hooked me up to the ceiling fan by my fanny pack.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Heating, 651-5899.
License number M13229 TACLA 000743445E.
Thomas J. Henry recently recovered $27 million for a brain injury in a trucking accident case. If you were hurt in an accident, we can help. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio to start your claim today. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
The San Antonio Express News gives you access to the city, access to be in the know, access to be amazed, access to be better citizens, access creativity. The San Antonio Express News. Express your relief. Express your voice. San Antonio, be the first to know with the San Antonio Express News. Subscribe today at expressnews.com/subscribe. Get access with the San Antonio Express News by subscribing today at expressnews.com/subscribe.
You have plenty going on. Let Mom Needs a Break Cleaning take care of your most time-consuming household chore. Mom Needs a Break Cleaning offers residential and commercial services, one-time, recurring, or move-out. Get your house cleaned before Thanksgiving and save 20% when you call 210-815-1399. With our quality assurance program in place, we will make sure you will be 100% satisfied. Call 210-815-1399. That's 210-815-1399. Or go to momneedsabreakcleaning.com. That's momneedsabreakcleaning.com.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who refuse to let happy hour end without squeezing in one more round. The type of guys who would rather sweat from unspeakable places than stop eating the spiciest wings on the menu. And the men who still chuckle when they order their wings bone in. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Looking for a late night bite? Service industry employees receive 50% off handhelds and appetizers every day, 10 to close. Some exclusions apply.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vic ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app, anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations, along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S., all free.
With the radio.com app.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. and snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Experience the most mind-bending thriller of the year. Available at Redbox. From the producers of Get Out and Us, Rent, Antebellum, starring Janelle Monáe. Successful author Veronica Henley finds herself trapped in a horrifying reality that forces her to confront the past, present, and future before it's too late. Don't miss Antebellum, along with other new movies, and make it a Redbox night. Head to one of the 40,000 Redbox locations, stream on your smart TV, or visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. The Blitz is brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Negligent drivers of cars, trucks, commercial vehicles should all pay for the harm they cause. Medical expenses, lost wages, pain and mental anguish, scarring, disfigurement, loss of household services. His help is available 24 hours a day, 210-900-0400. Your call is free of charge and without any obligation. Again, Jason Thompson, alawyerforus.com. I'd like to welcome on the show Andrew Monaco, the host of the Jimbo Fisher Show every week right here on ESPN San Antonio, brought to you by Airtron Heating, AC and AC, Ewald Kubota, and the Rue Pub and Angry Elephant. The straw that stirs the drink, the voice of the fighting Texas Aggies, Andrew Monaco. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Hey, Rob, how are you today?
Doing great, doing great. So a little bit of shot probation, a little bit of a free weekend for you. Certainly not one you expected to have. I'm not sure we wanted it at all, but what's the positive about this, if there's anything, about the Aggies game being postponed against Tennessee?
Positive is you're still going to play. I think that's the biggest positive. It's just going to be on December 12th. It's not going to be, tomorrow. The other positive is, you know what? You get a little time off, and the bumps and the bruises of a 10-game SEC schedule gives you a little bit of time to have everybody healthy when you take the field again. And, you didn't want an off week. You want to keep playing, obviously, but you take full advantage of this and you take that mental break, because when you get back on the field, I'm not going to say it's a race, but you're going to be playing consecutive weeks and then prepare right for a bowl, hopefully. So this gives you a chance. No practices this week, but they'll get back on that practice field next week. You just work out and do what you've done. Next week will be almost like when you get back after a bye week, you get into that prep. This becomes an opportunity, some mental relaxation, if you will, and really get yourself 100% healthy if you can.
And Andrew, you mentioned the mental side of things. What does Jimbo Fisher do to try to keep his guys positive? I know when UTSA last week had a game canceled, we talked to Jeff Traylor about it, and he said that was the tough part because, you're ready to play, you want to play, and now you're not playing, and now you're only practicing on Zoom, and keeping everybody mentally focused and positive is kind of the challenge. What is Jimbo Fisher doing in that area?
With the Zooms and with your position and being 5-1 helps, and how you have played and built and how your growth has come in the last 4 weeks keeps you, or the last 4 Saturdays. I think that is what keeps you so positive. It's now, okay, we've gone through this before. This is what we did last spring. So we're a little familiar now. This isn't brand new. We're just going back to that with that communication, whether it is Zoom, whether now we're going to lift on our own safely, everything separated. We're going to get together in our groups again safely, because they've been familiar with this. But it goes back to what we've talked about all season long, is the power of preparation, the mental preparation for what game is next. If it's Ole Miss on Saturday, then you prepare for Ole Miss. They had an opportunity to learn a little bit about that on the previous bye week. If next Saturday gets canceled, then you wait for the schedule, but you get back on that field. You prepare for when you're back on the field the next time and continue these winning ways.
You brought up Ole Miss. Now, the word's coming from their athletic department that next week it looks pretty desperately not going to happen. 99% chance is what I'd heard that it will not be played. You know, that's rough, and certainly the Aggies need to get on the field. But as they sit, number 5 in the country, I'm not sure the map of the way they were going to get there played out exactly the way it happened, but it certainly is exactly where the Aggies would hope to be. Sitting at number 5, after that performance, what did Jimbo see that needed to, number 1, it be improved? Because I'll tell you, it was a thorough domination in my eyes. I didn't see a position group or a part on the field where the Aggies did not win.
If anything, Rob, it might have been the slow start. Don't wait that long to get started. Try to get into your rhythm that way. But look, the offensive line and the defensive lines were flat out dominant in that game. And what he absolutely loved is Isaiah Spiller goes out, and you don't miss a thing. Devon Achane is something special. He said, look, this isn't a track guy who plays football. He's a football player who runs track and loves the strength of him. But a lot of that credit goes to that offensive line for, creating those holes for him. He loves the third down conversions. He loved the third down in the red zone. You realize 2 games in a row, they're 9 for 9 in the red zone, and all of them have been touchdowns. And he did something else in that game. And as soon as this happened, I immediately thought, Jimbo loves to get the last score of the second quarter and the first score of the third quarter. It's why he likes to defer. Well, when South Carolina elected to receive, the first thing that went in my mind was, you know what? Aggies are going to get the ball first in the third quarter. So that score at the end of the second quarter and that first score in the third quarter turned a 14-0 game into a 27-0 game. You guys know that's completely different. If it's 14-0, and South Carolina holds Texas A&M to start the third quarter, they still feel like they're in it. But by 27-0, and then doing that on the road and the rhythm that offense got into, that becomes completely different. And Jimbo says, when you win your space and you win them at critical times, the scoreboard's going to say what you want it to say. By doing that against South Carolina on both sides of the ball, that scoreboard said exactly what they wanted to say at the end.
And if it wasn't a slow start, because I did think they could hang 60 on South Carolina going into it, and Rob didn't want to hear about it, but if they had done a little bit better early in that game, they would have easily got to 60 and won in an even bigger route. Now, they got the win, and it's unfortunate you've got the bye this weekend, and everybody's having to deal with things. You mentioned the makeup game is December 12th, Alabama, LSU. Nick Saban doesn't want to make that one up. He's got plans for that same weekend. So he thinks he's going to be playing in an SEC championship game. I'm curious if you're hearing anything from the SEC insiders about what Bob Bowlsby, the Big 12 commissioner, said today, that there is nothing set in stone. If we have to move games to be able to move the playoffs, that is a possibility. Are you hearing that from the SEC types, that some of these games, while there's a championship game scheduled, it can move?
SEC presidents voted to play on the December 19th weekend. The SEC championship is also scheduled on the 19th, and it is for that evening of the 19th. But the presidents have said if because of these postponements, they will play other games on the 19th. Here's the other thing, and Jimbo Fisher and Ross Bjork said this earlier in the week. We know who the 4 opponents are. Let's say next Saturday does in fact get postponed, Ole Miss. Texas A&M is going to play Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn. It may not be in the original schedule because the rest of the SEC might get shaken up as well to get those games in. But there will be games on December 19th. Does it affect the college football playoff? We don't know. It's very possible. I don't know if it affects all those other bowls, but there is something. Look, it's this whole year has been about adjustments, and this just might be one more adjustment that we have to go through. But we will play those playoff games. It's a matter of when. Dates could change, but we know, as I said, the SEC president saying December 19th there will be a game being Texas A&M if they don't play next Saturday. Will play on the 19th, probably earlier in the day before that SEC championship game. And they won't be the only team to do that. They won't be the only team to do that. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of SEC games on that weekend. It just becomes another SEC football weekend.
You know, Andrew Monaco, he's going to be a 3-sport star this year with Texas A&M athletics. That basketball getting started. I heard you had a chance to go down to the gym and see Buzz and the boys working out. You know, we get Savion Flagg. I believe he's an all-conference, or at least preseason all-conference guard. He's coming back, a lot of youth. Tell us a little bit about Buzz's team. I know the excitement is huge as the recruiting class for next year looks as stellar as A&M has ever had.
Yeah, they bring in Manny Obaseki, who's a 5-star coming here to Texas A&M. That's next year. He committed those national letters of intent. It's actually where I am right now at Reed Arena watching one of the scrimmages here as we get started in, the 25th, right? November 25th right. Of that crossover classic in South Dakota. Yeah, you know what? It's funny you bring up Savion Flagg. And what a difference a year is, because this year, or this time a year ago, this is a team that's still learning what's being implemented by Buzz Williams. And the communication now for this team is completely different. There's more of an understanding. So if last year was the foundation for this team, your leaders and your experienced guys like Savion Flagg, like J.J. Chandler, like Quentin Jackson can now explain to your young guys, Hassan Diarra and Hayden Hefner, Jackson Robinson and LaDamian Bradford, hey, this is how we do it. That's important to have that handoff. Last year, as they're going through boot camp and as they're going through what they have to learn from Buzz, they didn't know what they didn't know. Now they know, and I think that's important. The growth of Savion Flagg, I'm proud of him. We joke, who can say, every time I see him, I say, that's my guy. To get that nod as all conference second team preseason, he's an absolute force and more of a complete player. And I'm looking forward to see. You know, it was a slow start last year. If you saw that team in Orlando in that tournament, you weren't sure they were going to win a game. But this was an A&M team that was not favored in any of their conference games, any of them, and they went 10-8 and finished 7th in the conference. Look, I know the preseason rank is 11, but to me, it's like, okay, we're just going to have to do it all over again until you make believers out of the rest of the conference. But it's really interesting. I think they can move forward. You don't go back to step one. They're a little farther ahead. All these experienced guys, the guys who are coming back, understand a lot more about what Buzz Williams is doing here at Texas A&M.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Fighting Texas Aggies, joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. If you're looking forward to a football game, it has been postponed tomorrow. The Tennessee game will be replayed. December the 12th is the date we have set right now. Well, Andrew, enjoy your weekend. You're going to go play some golf? You're just going to lay on the couch and watch a bunch of golf this weekend?
Nah, you know what? I may go watch A&M Consolidated go play in Montgomery today. I don't know. I may be a spotter for somebody this weekend.
Well, hey, Andrew, hold on. It's 4:44. I'm at Heroes. We've got Johnson Madison tonight, and Richard Oliver is doing the game with me tonight.
Oh.
We could
have
use
Richard
a
send
spotter.
his copter. Have Richard send his helicopter to pick up Andrew.
I think Jimbo has a plane. Hold on, let me see.
Whoa. So Kevin had the swag copter. Jimbo went plane. I like that.
We're recruiting East Coast now. Helicopter wouldn't get that far.
I see where this is going.
Jump off. Parachute. Eject.
Andrew, thanks for joining us, my friend. Stay safe. We look forward to a real game next Saturday. And either way, we'll have you back on Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
Love talking to you guys. Thank you. You too.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Fighting Texas Aggies right here on ESPN San Antonio. You know, talking about basketball, certainly the program is not what it was 4 or 5 years ago, but we're starting to see Buzz's imprint on this team. And like he was saying, they were not favored at any of their conference game. They closed really strongly. That's a team that was excited about the SEC tournament and the prospects of playing themselves into a postseason NIT kind of season after what they had. They're going to wreak havoc. They're not overly talented yet, but they're about to be. But they're going to beat you just on hustle. That's Buzz's style. Coming back, the Masters continues. We'll get you all caught up and tell you where Tiger is. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, this weekend is get ready to fire up the grill. You want to put the best meat you can on that grill. That great meal starts with great meat, which is why you need to get into Tri-County Meat Market, locally owned, full service. They've carefully selected certified prime Angus beef cuts, Wagyu, upper choice. They have everything you need to up your grilling game: beef, chicken, pork fajitas, poppers, those avocado bombs. They got so much there that's ready for you, seasoned, ready to go, or you just get the meat and do it yourself. And the Pig 5 for $25, an incredible daily special that they always have.
Yeah, the 5 for $25 will fill your cupboard and your fridge all week long. But as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving, I want to recommend go ahead and reserve your turkey over at Tri-County. They got them reserved, and they're coming out of Colorado, the Barber Farms in Colorado. They got several different sizes. You're going to want to go get one fresh off the farm, not frozen, and ready for your smoker, for your grill, or for your oven. They're on sale for just $2.49 a pound and available in 4 sizes. Now, Tri-County only gets a few of them, so you need to make your reservation as quickly as possible. Reserve your turkey today, now, before they're all out. And by the way, if you're a first responder, you'll get 10% off those turkeys if you're for military or first responders, police, firemen, and EMTs. Make your reservation. Get over to Tri-County Meat Market, 2 great locations, Ralph Fair Road and Huebner Market, or Huebner Road, or go check out their website, tricountymeat.com.
Dallas Cowboys football is on ESPN San Antonio and 102.7 Jack FM.
Zeke Elliott walked all the dogs.
Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, New Bricks Mobile Brake Repair, Alamo Water Softeners, Ewald Kubota, The Roof Pump, and the Agri Elephant.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, announces you will save on really dark window tint. It's perfectly legal to have really, really dark window tint. Mother's has it all: light, medium, dark, metallized, color stable, scratch resistant, ceramic, and carbon fiber based films. Every tint is a custom fit tint at Mother's Window Tint. Save $100. Save on car alarms that will protect yourself and your family. 24/7 live vehicle monitoring. Remote start your car. Mother's alarm systems provide the features not found on factory alarms. Plus, Mother sells car stereos that will make your car go thump, thump, thump. Mother Thump. Save $100 since 1984. Service centers in Austin and San Antonio. Check us out on Facebook or our website, motherswindowtint.com. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds has teamed up with Coach Ditka's Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund once again, helping heroes from the gridiron who are in dire need. They'll be celebrating Pork Rind Appreciation Day by giving away $5,000 and other incredible prizes. Plus, you could win a rare one-on-one conversation with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And let me tell you, that's pretty awesome. Enter at porkrinds.com and pick up your favorite flavor in the snack food aisle at H-E-B. It's November, time to start planning your Thanksgiving dinner, and it starts with the turkey. Jason and Rob here for Tri-County Meat Market. Tri-County Meat Market gets their turkeys from Barber Farms in Colorado. These fresh, all-natural turkeys are never frozen, just $2.49 a pound and available in 4 size ranges.
Tri-County only gets a limited number, so get into Tri-County and reserve your turkey now before they sell out. Tri-County Meat Market has 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Up to 5 messages a month. No guarantee of credit score increase. TNC and privacy policy found at possiblefinance.com/privacy.
I screwed up my credit when I was younger.
I often find myself scraping by right before rent is due.
If you need cash or are looking to rebuild credit, Possible Finance can loan you up to $500 in minutes. Good credit not required. Just text LOAN to 64,000 to download the Possible Finance app.
Within an hour of applying, there was money on my debit card. Where else are you going to get money at 10 p.m. on a Sunday night?
Repay the loan in installments and change your payment date with no fee.
For someone who's building credit, this is the best. My credit score went up after the first 2 payments.
I had trouble paying, so I moved my payment 2 weeks later without hurting my score. It helped big time.
Just text LOAN to 64,000 to download the Possible Finance app and get the money you need in minutes. Text LOAN to 64,000 to download Possible Finance. Text LOAN to 64,000.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor. You grab life with both hands, and you grab your bike with both hands. Therefore, bike is life. Figuratively speaking. Progressive Motorcycle also presents Roadside Assistance. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Hey, welcome back on the Blitz. You're on ESPN San Antonio. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. We're headed toward a fine high school football game under the lights. The likes of Madison and Johnson coming to you live in a variety of fashions. You can listen to it right there on your radio on the AM or the FM side. And also, you can check it out on our ESPNSA.com feed, or our Facebook feed, because we have gone out for you and offer you multi-camera coverage of a high school football game with a professional quality play-by-play artist, the likes of which is Jason Minix, and tonight a special guest star in Man About Town, Mr. Gadabout, Mr. San Antonio, Richard Oliver. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Will be a lot of fun, and I'm glad we could pry Richard away from the TV, because I'm pretty sure he's been watching the Masters all day while working from home. But since the round will be over, he can come out. If the game was starting at 5, I don't think he'd be sitting in with us.
Madison and Johnson powered to you tonight by Hill Electric and brought to you by Mom Needs a Break, Cleaning.com, Smoky Mo's Barbecue, and the San Antonio Express News, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. Okay, the Masters is in play today. It's almost so mesmerizing. And James, let's hear some of that music, because they're it's a tradition like none other.
Yeah,
laying on the couch on a Friday afternoon watching those guys. Man, I itch to play golf today. To play golf today. Yeah, it just seems so pastoral and elegant. And, the crazy thing is, without the fans, I'm starting to thoroughly enjoy it, because it has made at least the camera angles, and now we're getting some drone shots. If you didn't think that the Augusta was beautiful before, it is, with the fall foliage, what little we've seen. Now, the blooms aren't there, but everything else is. It is a beautiful watch. If you invested in a great TV, it's paying off for you this week. Yeah,
years ago I got to watch some of the Masters in 3D, but I don't know if they're doing that anymore. And I keep seeing the turn to this channel for the 4K coverage, kind of wishing I had that option. But how about San Antonio's Abraham Answer in the lead right now, or at least tied for it at 9 under with Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, and Cameron Smith. But could you imagine if San Antonio guy ends up winning this thing? I mean, I know it's still early, but dude, Abraham Answer, that guy is a stud. He might move out of his current neighborhood and move into a better one, but he's already in a badass area. But, dude, it's pretty awesome to see a San Antonio guy at the top of that leaderboard.
Hold on, baby. Hold on. You got another 2 days to go. Moving day tomorrow. The Masters, you're going to be able to catch it live. If you can't watch it, got to jump in the car, head someplace. We'll have it for you starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow, all the way up to Texas Tech there at 2 o'clock. So the Masters going on right now. Where did the El Tigre end up at?
He's actually, from what I've seen today, he was playing in the afternoon. He's at 4 under, I believe, so tied for about 22nd. As I tried to quickly go through the leaderboard. So
is he anywhere near Oosterhuizen?
Tied for 22nd. I don't know, dude. You got a computer
too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see you scroll through there.
Yeah, that's exactly. How's Jimmy Walker doing? Anybody checked on Jimmy?
I don't know. I'm too excited about what's coming next.
What's coming next?
In about 20 minutes, Jim Gray is going to join us.
Yes.
He's interviewed a lot of goats and people, and he's got a brand new book coming out. We're always excited. You interview the likes of Jim Gray, and I put him on the level up there with Acostas, and there's these guys that have been around since you were a little guy and have interviewed everybody. And there's a thread of time that you can kind of mark time by his interviews. And he's got a book about all these interviews from presidents and heads of state to great athletes, both famed and, dubious. I mean, there's some guys that he's interviewed as well. I'm really excited to speak with Jim Gray because that is a lifetime of really interesting interviews that he's going to pour out in a book, a great stocking stuffer. He's going to join us at 5:15 as you get ready for that season where you stuff stockings and give gifts. I think this is a fine sporting one that'll be coming out. By the way, did you see that the former president Obama's got a new book coming out?
I did not.
Everybody's dropping books. Tony Parker's got a book coming out.
Tony Parker's got a book coming out?
Tony Parker's got a book coming out next week.
Really?
I'm not giving anything away, but if you drop a book, normally you do a little bit of
Yeah, so we got to get him on the air. Absolutely.
Maybe that'll happen. Maybe Tony Parker will come on the Blitz and talk to us about his brand new book and his life in basketball and all that follows. It looks like that might actually come together. The book it looks like it's going to debut to be available on the 17th, and it looks like we might have him at some point prior to that. Let's just tease you along with that. But coming back in the 5 o'clock hour, let's look at the college football weekend. There are still fantastic games, but they're dropping like flies. We lost a few more today to postponement due to the COVID. We'll look forward to a full weekend of sports. We'll just tell you where it is with some scenic views. Taylor McHargue will join us at 6, and we'll talk about those games. We'll also look at the NBA. The trade rumors are fast and furious with the NBA. You want to hang around with us. Got a lot more fun coming. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
What better gift for the holidays than having your rent or mortgage paid for all of 2021? ESPN San Antonio's Home for the Holidays contest. Details and registration available at ESPNSA.com. Bonus entries when sharing on social media and liking and engaging with your business. ESPN San Antonio's Home for the Holidays contest. Opportunities knocking. Will you answer? 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
This football season might look a little different, but Dos Equis wants to remind you that nothing will change college football's oldest tradition, the tradition of drinking beer. So no matter where you're tailgating, make sure to pick up some Dos Equis because it's been a long offseason. Dos Equis, the official beer sponsor of the College Football Playoff and proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. Wherever you're tailgating this season, grab an ice cold, refreshing Dos Equis.
Dos Equis, the official beer sponsor of the College Football Playoff and proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. Copyright 2020.
It's been a hell of a year, San Antonio. I'm Chip Ingram, and my bars, the Brew Pub and Angry Elephant, have been closed more than they've been open, and I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, things are getting better. 281 North is open, and football is finally here. Our kitchen is open every day till 2 a.m., and we open for happy hour at 11 a.m. And as our customers say, our food is pretty darn good. So this is me asking you to help a local guy and his staff get back on our feet. Come see us at the Brew Pub and Angry Elephant at 281 North and Redland Road.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who refuse to let happy hour end without squeezing in one more round, the type of guys who would rather sweat from unspeakable places than stop eating the spiciest wings on the menu, and the men who still chuckle when they order their wings bone in. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Looking for a late night bite? Service industry employees receive 50% off handhelds and appetizers every day, 10 to close. Some exclusions apply.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
You're ready to get back into yoga, so you ordered the essentials. A non-slip mat, yoga blocks to keep balance, and an exercise ball. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential yoga gear. Noise-canceling headphones.
Welcome. Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like Taylor Swift choosing what to wear.
It's looking kind of chilly out today. I think I'll go with a cardigan.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC. O'Reilly. Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, windshield washer fluid, and more. Get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs, plus earn double O-Rewards points. Get ready for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Hall of Famer Barry Sanders. You're listening to San Antonio Sports Leader, 1250 ESPN San Antonio.
And 94.5 FM, where the pros play. KCDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. On the go at ESPNSA.com. If you go there, you can watch our live broadcast. It lives forever on Facebook, by the way. It pops up on my feed pretty consistently, hopefully yours. Make sure you like us and follow us. You can also check it out on our YouTube channel and on, at ESPNSA.com. He is Jason Minix. The O'Reilly Auto Parts mobile studios rolled out to Heroes Stadium tonight. You have got a good football game headed your way tonight. Johnson and Madison going off at 7 o'clock will take you all the way to pregame. Any early thoughts on the game?
It's good. It's going to be a good football game. But, when you think of all the different rivals that there are, Johnson and Madison for years was because Ron Ritterman, the longtime coach at Johnson, came over from Madison and a lot of that staff, and they were modeled basically after the Madison program. And even though Mark Soto was in his first year there at Johnson, we had Johnson on last week as well. And quite honestly, it looked like a Johnson team that I've seen for the last 12 years. So, and again, don't fix what's not broken. The cupboard was left full by Ron Ritterman when he left for Alamo Heights. But, Johnson's undefeated. Madison's got some athletes. It's going to be a fun one.
It sure will, and we'll get you there. 5:15, Jim Gray's going to join us. Legendary sportscaster has got a brand new book, Talking to Goats. He's going to join us in just a couple of minutes as we look at a long and illustrious career in interviewing and broadcasting. But before we do, college football is that, this is what we thought might happen, and it might be worst case scenario as far as game cancellation and postponement after postponement. We finally get to hear from a commissioner, Bob Bowlsby, who's up on the Sirius network, the Big 12 network, speaking to the possibility of a delay. And I appreciate Bowlsby doing this, Jason, because I think the Big 10, set deadlines to their detriment. They probably should have played the science and played thing by ear, and I think they regret what they did. And I think the Pac-12 setting an arbitrary end to the season is something that's going to come back and get them. And Bowlsby with the Big 12, they've been kind of like a leaf on the stream. We'll just see what science takes us and see what we have to do. No commitment, but there are possibilities if we do need to postpone.
Well, and you think about what Bob Bowlsby said in Pledge. He was on Sirius XM radio this morning with our old friend Ari Temkin. And, and one of the great things is I think he's very honest and said what so many of us have expected, that there will be some sort of change up. And why have deadlines that, might not be able to be met? You have to have some flexibility.
Well, I'm on the CFP operations committee, and we've spent some time talking about that. We haven't come to any closure on it, but there is some latitude to postpone if that need should arise, and the same is true with some of the New Year's Six games. But within reason, you can do those things. I don't know that I see us playing a championship game in February, but you just never know. These are unusual times, and things that might otherwise not be acceptable have to be considered in this kind of circumstance.
Bob Bowlsby today on the Sirius XM network with our old friend Ari Temkin talking about the possibility of a delay. And I've got lots of problems with the league commissioners for lots of other reasons, but at least Bowlsby, and to the extent we look over at the SEC and ACC as well, those commissioners and conferences are playing by the science. At least we're not going to make any definite rules or decisions because there's nothing definite that we can base those decisions on. All we can do is forecast a couple of weeks out, and anything after that, we don't know. So let's not commit to anything. And I think things look bleak right now. And I think it does give a lot of university presidents and ADs out there feel a little bit of comfort knowing, well, if we do have to postpone it, those money-making ventures that we're all relying on, even those bad teams that don't get to go to bowls, there's still some money coming in because they've got some space to move things around.
Well, and the flexibility that we're seeing. Remember, last week when the Pac-12 started, there were a couple games that got canceled because two programs had issues. Well, why not get those other two together and let them play? Well, they didn't do it last week. They said logistically they couldn't. This week, the Pac-12 has lost two more games, with Cal and Arizona State getting postponed, UCLA and Utah. So what they're going to do is create a game. Cal's now going to play UCLA. Go figure. It's pretty easy. You might not have the game prep for it, and it might cause some other issues, but in reality, you're going to be able to get some games in because they didn't leave themselves the makeup day window like the 12 did, like the SEC did, like the ACC did. And there does need to be some flexibility. And I know there's a lot of bowl games that are set. I know the Valero Alamo Bowl has a date. And you know what? It could probably be moved too. Or if they're not involved with teams that are going to the CFP, maybe you're still having some bowl games going up while there's still some regular season football to be had. It's just that kind of year. But the big money games, the ones where they're going to cash in, they're going to figure out a way to get those in. And if they got a delay to the middle of January or maybe even in February, then that's what they're going to do.
They literally have to, because the finances of these athletic departments have taken such a beating, and they disperse this bowl money for a lot of these schools amongst all of the schools. So even though you might not go, there's money coming your direction. And there's a lot of schools that desperately need that bowl cash.
Absolutely. And now Greg McElroy had a tweet, and depending on what side of the fence you are on, Rob, is how you're going to take this tweet. Greg McElroy tweeted out, contrary to the narrative, the sky is not falling. There have been 406 FBS games scheduled throughout tomorrow night. So far, we've had to cancel or postpone 53. Feels like a lot, but 53 of 406 is about 13%. So, Rob, at the moment, the glass is still 87% full.
I agree. The sky's not falling. But as every day passes, we have the realization and the understanding that there are things that you can do and things that you can't, things that we didn't even know a couple of weeks ago. Heck, the CDC told us just this week, now it's safe to wear a mask not only to protect yourself, which, that was the debate, but also others. And as that kind of science moves along, I think that everything is working as well as it possibly can. Is it half full or half empty? I don't know, but better minds are making decisions than me. And at least in the college side of it, it feels very much that first and foremost is athletic safety, of the safety of the athletes. And as long as that is the precursor to every decision that is made, I'm down, and I will be happy with whatever outcome there is, because I know it's the best possible thing if you're starting from the right place, and that is the safety of the athletes. And once that's taken care of as best you can, mitigating as much of the liability and problem that you can, well, move forward, because that's where we are now. I'm with you, McElroy. You're right. It is a Herculean effort, a monumental feat to only have 13% of the games canceled or postponed.
And again, depending on how you want to look at it, that's, and I think you could say the same for high school football in the state of Texas, yes, where it feels like, especially right now, you got teams in playoffs, and because of shortened schedules, a team like North Dallas, and I want to celebrate North Dallas because they played in their first playoff game in 68 years last night.
Good for them.
Now, they're 2-4, but they haven't been to the playoffs in forever. They got T-shirts. They were down 72-0 to Argyle at halftime. They were a playoff team with a 2-4 record but you know what? They got the T-shirt.
I've never even heard of that high school. I guess I know why now.
The North Dallas Bulldogs.
Yeah, there you go. This sounds like a movie nickname. And when we come back, we're going to talk with a legend. Jim Grey, a legendary sportscaster, has got a brand new book coming out. We're going to talk with him about a long and illustrious career and insights from one of the better interviewers of our time. Jim Grey joins us next here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
As you're starting to think about what you want to do for dinner, it's Friday. You don't want to cook. You want some wings? Go to wingstop.com or download an order right off of the Wingstop app because Wingstop now delivers. So if you're craving wings, you can crush that wing crave at wingstop.com. You know, you can go to Wingstop for classic and boneless wings, sauced and tossed in 11 mouth-watering sauces and dry rubs. Those fries that are fresh cut every day, tossed in that addictive sweet and salty seasoning, the house-made dips of ranch and blue cheese to top off your order. You're craving wings, classic or boneless. There is no wrong answer. You can order your favorite flavor today for pickup or delivery, including the option for no contact delivery. So order your favorite flavor today at wingstop.com or off of the Wingstop app. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
ESPN San Antonio wants to pay for your home in 2021. ESPN San Antonio's Home for the Holidays contest. Entry and details at ESPNSA.com. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar, now with 4 San Antonio area locations to serve you, including the newest member of the family, Slackers Medical Center, located at Fredericksburg and Medical Drive. Come try all of Slackers' new food options and follow it up with an ice-cold beer or your favorite cocktail. With wall-to-wall HD screens and 7 days a week happy hour, Slackers is your sports destination, continuously taking extra precautionary measures to ensure the safety of our guests and team members. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now with 4 area locations to serve you.
It's November, time to start planning your Thanksgiving dinner, and it starts with the turkey. Jason and Rob here for Tri-County Meat Market. Tri-County Meat Market gets their turkeys from Barber Farms in Colorado. These fresh, all-natural turkeys are never frozen, just $2.49 a pound and available in 4 size ranges.
Tri-County only gets a limited number, so get into Tri-County and reserve your turkey now before they sell out. Tri-County Meat Market has 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heavener, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know, in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. If your water smells or has an odd taste, call Alamo Water Softeners at 210-274-6122. Alamo Water Softeners is a locally owned family-run business that offers the highest quality water softeners at affordable prices. Free in-home or phone estimates available. Get clean, soft water by calling Alamo Water Softeners, 210-274-6122, or go to their website, alamowatersofteners.com.
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vic ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Message and data rates may apply. Up to 5 messages a month. No guarantee of credit score increase. TNC and privacy policy found at possiblefinance.com/privacy.
I screwed up my credit when I was younger.
I often find myself scraping by right before rent is due.
If you need cash or are looking to rebuild credit, Possible Finance can loan you up to $500 in minutes. Good credit not required. Just text LOAN to 64,000 to download the Possible Finance app.
Within an hour of applying, there was money on my debit card. Where else are you going to get money at 10 p.m. on a Sunday night?
Repay the loan in installments and change your payment date with no fee.
For someone who's building credit, this is the best. My credit score went up after the first 2 payments.
I had trouble paying, so I moved my payment 2 weeks later without hurting my score. It helped big time.
Just text LOAN to 64,000 to download the Possible Finance app and get the money you need in minutes. Text LOAN to 64,000 to download Possible Finance. Text LOAN to 64,000.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
good night,
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
My husband, Alex Hussey, was hit by an IED in Afghanistan.
I was point man on foot patrol, and I stopped on the bomb. Lost my legs and my left hand in an explosion.
DAV helps veterans of every generation to get the benefits they've earned.
To see Alex learning to snow ski, that's life-changing.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
This has meant so much. Thank you, DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. On the go at ESPNSA.com. You can go there and watch us live. The Blitz is brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Jason Thompson. Negligent drivers of cars, trucks, and commercial vehicles should pay for all the harm that they cause. Medical expenses, lost wages, pain, mental anguish, and all the rest. Hire Jason Thompson. Let him take care of that while you take care of the issues. Remember, a phone call is right around the corner for you, and discussing your case with him is free of charge, and there's certainly never any obligation with that. We're chasing Jim Grey, and as soon as he gets on the horn, we will discuss his lifelong interviewing of GOATs. But in the meantime, huge news today here in San Antonio as the Spurs have released their Saturday night city editions. The fast-breaking Fiesta has made its valiant return some 20 years after that era was finally put to rest. We have brought it back, and let's just hope we don't have a pink or baby blue key up at the AT&T Center anytime soon.
I hope that they don't change the floor, and for the city edition, they leave it just that. But Rob, I know you're one into conspiracy theories, and you like to look at different things and go, I wonder what the meaning is behind that. Did you happen to notice of the photos that the Spurs put out today? You got Lonnie Walker, you got DeJounte, you got Keldon. You don't have LaMarcus. You don't have DeMar. You're missing. No pictures of Patty Mills in these jerseys that they put out today.
The photo that we saw was the five that probably would have been the starters in the bubble. Trey Lyles, had the appendicitis and missed all of that. But the picture in the debut of that has Trey standing there with the four other young guns, and it didn't look all that odd. But I don't know. I don't know when the picture was taken. It could have been taken in the bubble, but there's Trey, so he looks in pretty good shape. So that looks recent. Maybe they didn't make anybody fly in. Or you could take it for what it is. That's going to be the starting five, and LaMarcus and DeMar are in this region of we don't know yet.
I find it interesting that I can't imagine if the Spurs were doing this, that it wouldn't have been Tim, Tony, and Manu if they were doing this 10 years ago. They would have had their stars out there. They would have flown them in or flown a photographer out to those guys to make sure they were a part of this.
Yeah, but, protocols might play a role in this. I honestly don't know, and I'm not trying to defend it because I do think if it wasn't intentional, they should have thought about it. They should have said, well, if we're going to release a photo of five minus our two legitimately best players, we need to say why. And we didn't hear why. We just saw the young guns. And maybe that's the theme. Maybe it's a new Saturday night jersey, and these are the young kids that are going to enjoy it. They're the ones that are going to wear the interesting and matching shoes that go along with it, and maybe they're down. So I find it interesting. I'm not going to read too much into it, but the very idea that the two stars, and I'm pretty comfortable that the Spurs are the only team that debuted their Saturday night special jersey without a star. Did anybody else debut theirs without their number one dude, their ticket seller? I don't think so.
Now let's just continue on with the conspiracy theory. You remember when we heard about LaMarcus and some sensitivity things going on in Portland when Dame was taking over some stuff, and there was just a billboard of LaMarcus over there on I-10. If he's the sensitive type, do you think he might have his feelings hurt? If he is that type, I'm not saying he is, but if he is, that they do this photo shoot without him?
If I'm LaMarcus, I don't give a damn.
Well,
honest
I know.
God, this doesn't mean anything, anywhere, anyhow, especially if they said, LaMarcus, we're debuting this jersey. Can you fly into San Antonio for a 30-minute photo shoot? Like, is there anybody else who can handle this for me? It's not that big of a deal. But I do think that while it's not a big deal to him or the players, it is to us. And when you put a picture out like that, it just appears as, well, these are my guys, and this is what my guys are going to be wearing. And if they're not in the picture, they're not my guys. And without DeMar and LaMarcus, it does look odd. I just can't imagine there's anything other than it was a timing issue.
And that certainly is a possibility. I just find it odd that, Sean Elliott is the one that got the box and put the teaser video out. If you wanted to make sure your stars were involved, couldn't it have been video of LaMarcus and DeMar opening up a box, not showing us the jersey, but teasing us that they were going to drop? I just find it interesting that, your three big name players, when I'm putting Patty Mills in there, the three guys that have been talked about for weeks on the trade block aren't a part of your big jersey reveal.
So let's talk about the trade block and the guys that weren't offered in the photo. Now, yesterday we heard a bit about Patty Mills being on the block, and two teams were mentioned, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. There's still smoke regarding that. Then today, now again, these are unsubstantiated, and it's always NBA sources say. But NBA sources say that the Spurs are in talks with the 76ers, and this would include Derek White. And for Derek White, the Spurs would receive Zaire Smith, if y'all recall him from the Texas Tech years, a couple back when Beard first arrived. He was a scorer, hadn't panned out quite as much in the NBA, not a lot of playing time, and 2 second-round picks for Derek White. That seems a little cheap for a starting NBA point guard, in my thought. But it goes to show again that with every passing day, the rumors of the Spurs in the market, I'm starting to believe it. This isn't just happenstance and a couple of guys saying. And the reason I believe it, Jason, is it's the 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks, both franchises of which the Spurs have kind of cross-pollinated with people and coaches.
Trust the process. Now, first off, what you just mentioned, there's no way the Spurs do that. There's no way. Unless we get
unless there's another deal in the works.
Well, is there an Ishka Bibbles involved, a good cheesesteak? Even then, that's a bad deal. But the fact is, it's more talk involving the San Antonio Spurs. I'm not sure how to handle this. I'm not used to having my team involved in so many rumors out there, whether they're trade or not. It's just a very unusual time for the San Antonio Spurs. I could only imagine what it's like over there in the offices or in their Zoom meetings or ever they're meeting that, they're being talked about this much, because that's not what they like. That's not what they're about. And it's not what they're accustomed to.
It certainly isn't. And here's the little kicker, especially when we're talking about the 76ers, is now that it appears that the Houston Rockets are going to part ways with one or both of their stars. Russell Westbrook might be looking at the New York Knicks. It might be a nice landing spot, but the name James Harden has been mentioned frequently with the 76ers. If we're talking guards and we're talking trades, the fallout of that might be whatever is left after the Harden deal, and there might be more involved. It's nice to know that the lines of communication are open between two franchises that, quite frankly, only have to deal with each other twice. You're not dealing with, the rivalry of going home on a regular basis and all that. It wouldn't occur. It's the perfect partner when you're thinking about trading guys that you love. You don't have to fight them every other week or every third time.
I do find it interesting, the Harden to Philadelphia rumors, and I put a lot into that just because Daryl Morey now. And what is he willing to do to have his guy? Like, will his plan only work if James Harden is somehow involved with that? But it is interesting, with the draft coming up Wednesday night, the amount of talk, and it feels like it's just out of left field. I mean, the NBA had their finals, they were in the bubble, then they disappeared, and now they're just roaring back with dominating headlines.
We get the decision as far as free agency, we hope, is forthcoming. When do they have to opt in or opt out prior to the draft? The draft is next Wednesday. We will have it live here at ESPN San Antonio. We'll have a warm-up for you at 5:30 heading into the game itself. Looks like we got a stacked. We're going to have you completely ready for the draft. A huge announcement about an interview on Monday is coming quite quickly, and it looks like Paul Westhead will be joining us on Monday as well, as we look at the NBA and the status of the current style of play. He's the granddaddy of it. He might have some insight as to the type of player that would be most appropriate if you were starting over with that system. Hey, when we come back, we still got a whole lot to get into. We're still chasing Jim Grey. I can't imagine where he is. I know we're going to round him up and get him in the building or get him on the phone sooner than later. And as soon as he does jump in, we'll get him on. But coming back, let's we got a fine football. I want to get into that as well. Hold on tight. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. New Brakes is a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. So if your brakes are going bad or you think they're going bad, do yourself a favor, hell, do all of us a favor, and get your brakes fixed. New Brakes has made getting your brakes repaired easy, convenient, and affordable because they will come to you wherever you are. If you're in a parking lot, they're going to come and fix your brakes, whether you're at home, whether you're at the office. Even on Saturday and Sunday, they have appointments. You could be laying on the couch, watching the game, grilling in your backyard while getting your brakes repaired. Their certified brake techs come to you and fix your brakes while you continue to live your life. You don't have to schedule an appointment, factor in drive time, go sit in a shop and wait a couple hours while they work on it, or leave your car overnight. They come to you. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. They only use premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go read all the 5-star reviews. Before you head out on that holiday road trip, you want that sense of security that your brakes won't fail you. Go to newbrakes.com and schedule your repair, especially if you're going somewhere cold and snowy, because cold, wet weather can be hard on your brakes. nubrakes.com is the website, nubrakes.com. When you go and schedule your repair, mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. You're going to save 10%. newbrakes.com, nubrakes.com.
Follow your favorite San Antonio area high school on 210varsity.com. Instant scores anytime on any device. Upload photos and videos from the action on your school's page. Click on 210varsity.com. Powered by Hill Electric, momneedsabrakecleaning.com, and ESPN San Antonio.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney and owner of the Thompson Law Firm right here in San Antonio. And for the past 25 years, I've represented people and families seriously injured in car and commercial truck collisions. After a collision, you need to know that insurance companies have trained adjusters and attorneys on staff with one goal in mind: pay as little as possible. How good are the insurance companies? It's fairly easy to figure out. All you need to know is that insurance companies report net profits in the billions of dollars every year. That's net profits. And this year will be no different. If you or your family have been seriously injured in an auto collision, I want you to call me as soon as you can after the collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Your call will be answered anytime, day or night. The phone call and our initial consultation is absolutely free of charge with no obligation. I want you to call me, Jason Thompson, 210-900-0400, or find me on the web at alawyerforus.com.
Do you have a retirement plan? No matter your age or how close you are, you need a plan to make sure you don't run out of money. Hi, this is Daryl Lyons from Pax Financial Group. We have the experience and tools to crunch your retirement numbers and get the answers you need. If you have a plan, let us double check your numbers. Call us at 210-881-5700. That's 210-881-5700, or online at paxfinancialgroup.com.
Investment advisory and insurance services are offered by Pax Financial Group.
And Cyril Winton Chevrolet says stop before you buy your new Chevy, because it's Black Friday savings all month long at Aunt Cyril Winton Chevrolet on Bandera Road. You'll get super low interest rates, our largest selection of new Chevys, and low and zero prices. Plus, buy a new Chevy, get CC's Pizza till the end of the year. So stop before you buy and come by Aunt Cyril Winton Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy store, right outside Loop 410 on Bandera Road. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Diamonds Direct's doing something we've never done before. A spectacular 7-day store-wide event with 20% off and more. Virtually everything. It's all next week, November 16th through the 22nd. This is the pre-holiday sale everyone waits for. Taken to a whole new level for 2020. Get 20% off all designer and fashion jewelry, all eternity bands, earrings, bracelets, bigger selection, lowest prices, special incentive, an extraordinary sale for an extraordinary year. November 16th through 22nd only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Hey guys, Dave Ramsey here for the pros over at veteran-owned Champion AC.
Hi, I'm Ben Hubbard, owner of Champion AC, and we are here to protect you.
That's why I recommend them to my listeners. Everything Champion does is to protect their customers' time, money, home, and comfort.
With Champion AC, you'll have transparent pricing and no hidden costs, so you'll know exactly how much to budget.
And for added peace of mind, you'll be texted a photo of your service provider before they get to your home.
You can also track your technician in real time with our GPS tracking system.
You can be sure that as the largest Trane dealer in San Antonio, they can offer you better prices on a great unit.
Over 40,000 homeowners in San Antonio have trusted their homes to Champion AC.
Where exceeding the standard is their standard. It's the Champion way.
Call 504-5555 or visit championac.com.
And tell them Dave sent you.
License number CACLB 19872E, DECL 34080.
Dell Technologies just announced their Black Friday sale. They're releasing new doorbusters every weekday, plus up to 50% off cutting-edge tech for your business. There's no better time to upgrade your small business with the latest laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors. Plus, there's free shipping on everything. Yes, everything. Give Dell Technology Advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solutions for your business. Go to Dell.com/SB Black Friday or call 877 Ask Dell.
The holidays may be the season of light, but they're also the season of long, dark nights, especially on the road. But the experts at Advance will help you get the furthest and widest down-road visibility with Sylvania's Silver Star Ultra headlights. Save $15 by mail on twin packs or 2 single packs. Plus, score 100 Speed Perks bonus points with purchase. Light up the night on your way to every holiday get-together. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participate in CarQuest locations. See store for details.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Happy Friday the 13th to you. What's it called? Triskaidekaphobia, the fear of the number 13? Do you suffer that fear, Jason Minix? Are you afraid today?
No.
Good.
No. Can you spell that? What did you call it?
Triskaidekaphobia.
Are you making that up?
No, that's the fear of the number 13. It is only comes around on days like this, or maybe gambling.
That's why you don't see hotels with the 13th floor on them.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, it always goes from 12 to 14.
There's a place downtown. It's called 13th Floor.
Yeah,
I've been there. You don't want to get off on that. You don't want to get off on that floor, by the way.
I mean, have you ever done that? You've done the 13th floor.
Yeah, I'm not good at those things. My first impulse is to hit. It's just
against the rules.
I know you shouldn't assault the band, the drama geek. Yeah, that put on all the clothes. It's not a good idea.
Realize, it's a 19-year-old girl in there, and you just beat the crap out of her.
I lose all perspective, and it's just better that it's either I'm going to hit somebody or have to go change my pants. One or the other.
Scream.
I've reached a time in my life where it's been a long time. I remember I took my boys when they were much younger to that, and it was an interesting evening. I can't do it. Hats off to those who can, man. I just don't like being scared like that.
On purpose. You pay for that.
Well, no, in general. I don't like being scared in general. It's kind of an ongoing theme.
Well, I mean, sure. Well, you won't get scared this weekend watching the Cowboys because they have a bye. I mean, it's one of those weekends where you could sit there. I mean, your whole football weekend is kind of screwed. No Aggies and no Cowboys.
No, I'm going to watch.
No reason for you to be grumpy.
No, I'm watching the SpaceX launch tomorrow. Is that still on? Are we sending guys to space on Elon Musk's little Tesla? I think it's still on, but I heard that he had tested positive, or I don't know, maybe he hadn't tested positive and he'd been in contact with these guys. It might not happen, but we're supposed to be sending guys into space.
If they're going to space, what better place to isolate?
Well, it's too late. They've already been here. Now, if you'd been in space since February, you're golden. You're the one guy that can come to my house. You're the one guy that I'll let in. You can come in, cough on me all you want. It's fine. There's one human being on the planet, that guy, if there is one. But no, if we're losing football games and they're canceling space shots, it can't be good. It can't be good. And we've had a lot of cancellations, postponements. We heard from Bob Bowlsby, the Big 12 commissioner, that there is some space waiting. There is some availability. But as we watch the Pac-12 lose yet another game, and we watch the SEC still searching for games, it's not as bad as Greg. It's not our Greg McElroy said, this is good. It's not bad. Only 13% of all the games have been postponed. But what we do see is this. I just very much feel like I'm sitting in early March and I'm looking at the NCAA tournament and the conference tournaments, much like I'm looking at the rest of this basketball season or football season. If everything breaks right, things are going to be okay. but everything tends not to break right. And I think that the idea from here on out is your glass should be half full or more so no matter what happens, because the Herculean effort there is just to get a game on the field. As we sit right now, it looks like UTSA and UTEP is, in fact, going to happen.
I saw a UTEP 18-wheeler cruising through San Antonio earlier today. I assume that's all their equipment going to the Dome. And, by 5:35 on Friday, I would think whatever the tests were for today would be in. And if it was canceled, we would know by now. I mean, wasn't it about 2:00 last week on a Friday when we found out the Rice game wasn't going to happen? And then we learned, talking to Jeff Traylor, that was Thursday night when he actually got the call from the trainer. So I think if the UTSA game tomorrow were to be postponed, we would know by now. So it does appear to be game on in that area. But when you talk about what it was like around the tournament, I did feel, and I've been very glass half full with all of this, and, the amount of postponements that you're getting. And then first thing I do is look at, it's like, how many positive tests? Is it one or two? And most are getting sat down because of the tracing and the position groups. And that seems to be the overwhelming majority. It's not like there's an outbreak like what you saw at Wisconsin. That to me is terrifying. One or two, and because of the protocols, you're calling off games. But when I saw what the Ivy League did today, and that's cancel everything through February for all their spring sports. And I remember they were the first in basketball to say, nope, we're not going. And you tend to want to follow the smart guys and see what they're doing. And ultimately that's what everybody did around the tournament, even though at first everybody thought they were overreacting. And then you realize the smart guys were way ahead of the curve. Seeing what they did today makes me nervous as hell.
It is a very deja vu-esque moment where they were the first to say that we're not even going to attempt, just like we saw last March. It is what it is. I maintain that as long as the decision-making process includes first and foremost the safety of the athletes. After that, if you can find a way to play and you can mitigate as much of the risk as possible by what you're doing, go play. But if the moment comes where you can't, don't, and we will find another outlet. We will find another way to get through, because we still have other things that to happen. We still have the possibility of postponement, as the Big 12 has some availability, so there isn't the tightrope walk of one more lost weekend and we won't be able to make it up. Wisconsin is going to try to play a game this week after not playing a game in a month, and if they lose one more, you have to have 6 wins just to get yourself available to get into the Big Ten championship game, or Big Ten championship game. They've waived the bowl game rights, but certainly if you don't have that many games, and this is going to function with the Ohio State, how much quality wins can you have? How can you judge against an SEC or an ACC schedule when you played 5 games and not even against the best in your conference? And SEC and ACC types went all the way through and played the best and the worst. It's going to make for a very difficult decision to be made when we get into the playoff scenario. But at the end, like I said when this all began, I'm not sure you can call whoever wins the last game of the year the national champion. I don't know what you want to call them, but quite frankly, for those that didn't get to participate, it's not a national title. It is the 2020 title made up of those that were available to play.
It is the 2020 national championship, and there's no other way. I mean, however you want to accept it, it is what it is. We all are going to know that this 2020 year was a strange one. Now, if there were only a couple of conferences that ultimately played, sure. If a team like Navy or somebody was able to sneak in there because not enough people played, sure, you could look down on it. But I think surviving this year to go win a championship of any level is a feat that you can't look down on. You just can't.
Hey, we've put out the feelers. We reached to the grapevine. We got him, Jason. You ready?
We do.
Settle back in. So let's talk to a goat that has interviewed lots of goats. We'd like to welcome on the show Jim Grey, legendary sportscaster, sports historian, an all-around good guy. Got a brand new book coming out, interviewing goats. Jim Grey, a legend, joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Welcome aboard, sir. Thank you for taking some time out with us.
Hey, Jason, Rob, how you guys today?
We are fantastic, Jim. Appreciate you taking the time. And as you jump in, you heard the tail end of our conversation there about what you call this year's national champion in college football. You've seen it all, done it all. How much credibility do you give to whoever ultimately wins it all this year in college football?
Well, I just like all the other leagues, and even though it's amateurs, college football, I think you have to respect it and admire it and call it, exactly what it is. I'm not a big fan of these asterisks, and I know the people in San Antonio aren't either.
Definitely.
I go back to those days, and it's just not right. Everybody's competing, everybody's playing under the same conditions. Certainly with COVID, some places are more hurt than others. Certainly more teams have more guys out than others. But by and large, everybody's being dealt a bad hand. It's not what we're used to. So whoever ends up on the top step of the victory platform, they've gone through the process and they've beaten who's ever in front of them. And I think that should be honored. I would hate to, unless the season comes to a premature conclusion, I would think however it ends, if there is an ending that is legitimate, in other words, if we have what we think we're going to have, then they're champions without an asterisk. Look, everybody was in the NBA bubble, right? There's no advantage there. There's no home court advantage. There's no nothing. Everybody's sitting in a hotel room, with the same food available, with the same conditions available. And so the best team won. This year it happened to be the Lakers. Would they have been the best team out of the bubble? Maybe, maybe not, with the travel involved and everything else that goes on, and home court advantages and different refereeing and so on and so forth. But for the conditions that they were handed, they were the best team. So I just think that's what you have to do. Obviously, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the same thing, as strange as it is. And nobody's going to get used to it. It just won't be normal. But that's what we have for now.
My contention with that is, as we're speaking with Jim Grey, a GOAT, and his new book is Talking to Goats. It's available post-haste. We'll get into the book itself quickly. But my contention with this is there's not going to be a Pac-12 team involved with this, and there might be a Big Ten team involved by default. It'll be Ohio State just because they were supposed to be good, and there might only be 4 or 5 games to prove such a thing. But, you're right. We need to pass the trophy along. Jim Grey joining us. And one of the things...
look, your point's real valid.
Yes.
And if a team plays 4 games, it's hard to say they're a national champion. But what do you do here? Do you just call it all off and go away, and then you break the hearts of all of those who've worked so hard, and you don't get the revenue, and it gets into all of the economic issues and so on and so forth. So I don't know. I've never liked this college system anyway.
It's about to crack apart.
Lose one game and then their season's over. It's just insane to me. It's like having one big exhibition, and then at the end of the year, we decide we're going to have a tournament. And then that tournament includes these 4 teams who are picked by this council. And these are all earnest people. They're trying the best they're doing their best with the system that they have. I just don't like the system.
Well said.
Jim Grey
joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Legendary broadcaster, 12-time Emmy Award winner, Hall of Famer. The book in Talking to Goats, and you had the GOAT quarterback actually write the foreword, Tom Brady. You know Tom Brady well. We hear the interviews weekly. What is your impression of what Tom Brady is going through right now in Tampa Bay, and how do you explain what happened in last week's game against the Saints?
Well, my explanation would just be from the vantage point of a sportscaster and not from the vantage point of ever having played. Look, teams have bad weeks and other teams are just better. And Brady has told me over the past decade a couple of things. Football doesn't start until Thanksgiving, so we're not there yet. And you can't win a game in the NFL until you learn how not to lose. So last week, New Orleans won the game. Okay, they were better in all phases. They kicked the heck out of the Bucs in every phase of the game. But Tampa also didn't play good enough to win. In other words, they lost the game. Penalties, turnovers, mistakes, out-prepared, out-coached. So up until that, Brady had thrown 200 passes without an interception. The week before, they were going to the Super Bowl. The week before, they had the best defense, everybody was saying, in the NFC. The week before, Tom Brady was 20 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Okay? So things change quickly in the National Football League, and they can change back quickly. You don't go from a place where you've literally thrown hundreds of thousands of passes and have familiarity with people, offensive line, even if the receivers aren't of the caliber of what he has now, there's a familiarity and consistency. Well, Drew Brees has that. Look at Drew Brees found, 11 or 12 players the other night to throw the ball to. Tom Brady's been throwing to Mike Evans and Godwin, and with the exception of Gronk, these people are all new. Antonio Brown had played one game with him before. So, and the guys out of the backfield, it's not like he's dumping the ball off to the guys who he had in New England. They drop a lot of passes. I think he had the most drops in the league going into last week. So
we blame it all on Jameis.
For Tom Brady. Tom didn't play well, and he said it. But 1 week, it's funny. 1 week they went from being the one that everybody was saying they're the Super Bowl team, at least in the NFC, to now all of a sudden, the season's over. Well, that's not the case.
They got to win their conference. Jim Grey, legendary sportscaster, sports historian, joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. And I want to talk about your book and kind of the 30,000-foot view, because you've interviewed every primary star in my generation and prior to, and then you include heads of state, the infamous, the less than famous, the famous. Is there a consistent thread amongst the types that you set down to get an interview, amongst them all, that you kind of can key in, or is every GOAT, every great different for a different reason?
I think they all have certain traits and qualities that are the same, but they all go about it differently, and obviously are very different people. I mean, I wrote a chapter on perfection, and how it defined three guys that I knew very well, covered, and have worked with: Floyd Mayweather with the 50-0, Michael Phelps with the most decorated Olympian in history, and Don Shula. Well, they all were defined by perfection. The perfect season for Shula, the 72 Dolphins, the perfect record for Mayweather, 50-0, and the perfection of touching that board more times than anybody in the history of the Olympics and collecting all those medals. So how they went about it was much, much different. But what it meant to them was very much the same.
Jim, when you think about all the greats in your book, talking to GOATs, I mean, you've talked to all of them. I mean, we see the interviews. We know they're incredible. We know how great you are at conducting an interview. So I don't want to ask you who is your favorite. What is the one interview with a GOAT that you had to do that you walked away going, man, I blew that one?
That I blew it? I can tell you the one that I did the best, and I can tell you the one that I'm the most proud of, and that's the Tyson ear biting. I'm glad that I didn't blow that one, because I would have never forgiven myself. A man bit off another portion of a man's ear. That hasn't happened before and won't happen again in something that I'm covering. I'm pretty certain, particularly of a man who had been the heavyweight champion of the world and had all of the eyes of the world on him. So that one I walked away from. I said, I didn't stumble on anything. I didn't forget to ask him anything. I didn't miss any follow-ups. So I just think that, in that instance, that was a good one. One that I've blown, there's not one that I could sit here and tell you that I'm thinking about or have regrets over. So I'm sure I didn't get it right at some point with somebody, and probably more than once or twice. But
things the GOAT says for 1,000. Never blown one. And I completely agree. Jim Grey joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. A new book coming out, interviewing GOATs. Now, I'm very curious also, getting the high-profile interview, getting the guys like a president or LeBron or Tyson, as you brought up. I'm curious about the politics of getting in front of them. How difficult is it and for some guys opposed to others? What's the toughest interview you ever had to organize that you couldn't believe you actually got? I'm curious about getting that done, but even before you get to even ask a question.
Well, you hit it right there on the head. I mean, that's really what it is. That's the crux of it, Jason and Rob, getting them to do the interview. It's very, very, hard, particularly now, to get in front of these guys, to develop a relationship, and then to be able to have earned the trust or to think that, they're going to get a fair shake, particularly now, since they can have all of their own outlets, be it on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or, their own shows, because in many instances now, if you look at LeBron James or Kevin Durant, they're media moguls as well. They have access and ability to go to the Showtimes or the HBOs or, in LeBron's case, ESPN and whoever, to be able to have their own brands and own their own shows and own their own content. And since they own their own content and they are their own brand, they can deliver their own message. And, so they don't need to go through a sportscaster asking them questions or be subjected to that. So getting them to sit down and do the interviews is a really tough thing. It's a very competitive thing. ESPN has, a lot of terrific reporters that do this every day. A lot of these other places do as well at Fox and CBS and NBC. So, it's not exactly, these people who are being interviewed now have, a variety and a plethora of choices. So, when you look back and you see, why was it that everybody sat down with Barbara Walters? Well, she had the credibility, and the credibility of yesteryear spilled over into today. Okay, that's much harder now because of the internet and because of social media and because of the ability to go directly to the consumer.
Jim Grey joining us here on the Blitz. His new book is Talking to Goats. Its forward is written by Tom Brady, a goat about a goat. I'm curious, as we get ready to let you go, Jim, have you ever, the preparation is one thing. And if we had more time, I'm very curious how you prepare for interviews with these types of stars, knowing the issues and the questions and the security that they need and the trust that they have to have in you. But have you ever asked a question and gotten an answer that was so unexpected that it still sticks out today?
I broke my back. What do you mean you broke your back? I broke my back. What do you mean by that? A vertebrae? A disc? Spinal. That was what Mike Tyson said. So that,
Yep.
You never knew exactly what might come out of his mouth, and you never knew exactly where it was going to go or how it was going to go. I mean, he gave a soliloquy about my style is ferocious. My defense is impenetrable. Lennox Lewis, I want to rip his heart out and feed it to his children. I mean, he came up with stuff that was, when you listen to, what he had said, it was, off the top of his head, it was magnificently stated and brilliant. But while it's happening, you're wondering, where is this going and how is it going? And so I guess I would say Mike Tyson was the one that, you always you just never knew. He one time threatened to kill me in the middle of an interview. He said, I'll kill you. I'll kill Don King. And not 45 seconds later, he kissed me on my cheek. And that was far more disturbing than when he threatened to kill me.
Jim Grey joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. The book is Talking to Goats. How do we get it, Jim? Where do we go?
You can go on talkingtogoats.com, talkingtogoats.com, or you can go to any of the great bookstores around the country or in San Antonio, or Amazon.com, and you can get it at any of those places, bookstores, Amazon.com, or talkingtogoats.com. And I'm at Jim Grey Official on Twitter, and there's a link there as well. Or talkingtogoats.com is on the internet, or at talkingtogoats on Twitter.
There you go.
Talkingtogoats.com and all of this, everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Go get it go get it from the website. He gets all of it.
No. By the way, Greg Bishop of Sports Illustrated, who wrote this book with me, he was an incredible guy. He did a great job, organized tens of thousands of interviews that have taken place over the years, and thousands upon thousands of events. And I owe him a big debt of gratitude.
Congratulations, Jim. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to having a stocking near you. Go pick it up. It's going to be a fine gift. Jim, take care of yourself. Stay safe. We look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it a lot. Have a good holiday.
Jim Grey right here on ESPN San Antonio. For guys in the business like us, that's royalty. Those are the guys that have exceeded and become part of the landscape of sports. And Jim Grey, certainly those interviews are signposts to our past. The famous, the infamous, the greats, the nearly great. Jim has interviewed them all. Go get that book. You know it's going to be spectacular. Hey, we're going to speak with Taylor McHargue just a couple of minutes away. Looking forward to your scenic views. College football across the spectrum. Not as many games as we'd like, but there's plenty of good ones to be had. We'll look forward with Taylor. And don't forget, we're headed all the way to a fine high school football game at 7 o'clock. Johnson and Madison, Jason Minix, and special guest star Richard Oliver on the call. Maybe he'll get on a little bit early with us, and we can kind of look forward to what the game is, and catch up with the what do you keep calling him? The
king of all media.
The king of all media, which is absolutely it. Spurs are drafting on Wednesday. I wonder if he has any thoughts on that.
I'm guessing he does, and probably has thoughts on your Aggies, his Aggies, and the new Spurs uniforms, and probably some baseball. He's always wanting to talk baseball and probably a little golf. He's just going to finish the rest of the show so I can go eat dinner.
I think that's the best thing we could possibly do. It's a Friday night. The Friday night lights are coming. Johnson and Madison on the call. We'll have Richard Oliver join us. We'll look back at what Jim Grey had to say. The Spurs are going to be wearing brand new uniforms on their City Edition nights. We're just curious who the hell's going to be in them and what's up with that picture. Why no DeMar? Why no LaMarcus? Is Patty going to Milwaukee? Is he going to Philadelphia? The continuing saga of the offseason of the COVID-related Spurs. We'll get into it next. You want to hang around where you are? That's the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, it's Friday. You have your weekend plans. I'm going to guess none of you plan on getting arrested, but some of you will. Or maybe it's not you, but you get a phone call from a family member or friend that they got arrested. They need help getting out of jail. You know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You can even start the bonding process there online. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. A lot of reasons for that. And yet don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, AA Best Bail Bonds. License number 149. The phone number, 210-225-2121. 225-2121 or online, mybestbailbonds.com.
Don't set your fantasy lineups without consulting the Fantasy Gods. Brought to you by RDK Advisors. Brandon Medina and Michael Jimenez help get your fantasy football lineup set every Sunday morning from 11 to noon on 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
We're the Aggies, official sponsor of the college football playoff, and we're here to say it's smooth, nothing meant to refresh you. We'll say the tailgates, ice now. D-O-S-C-Q-U-I-S, the Aggies, that sells beer.
For your next tailgate here in San Antonio, grab some ice-cold Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. Copyright 2020.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, announces you will save on really dark window tint. It's perfectly legal to have really, really dark window tint. Mother's has it all: light, medium, dark, metallized, color stable, scratch resistant, ceramic, and carbon fiber based films. Every tint is a custom fit tint at Mother's Window Tint. Save $100. Save on car alarms that will protect yourself and your family. 24/7 live vehicle monitoring. Remote start your car. Mother's alarm systems provide the features not found on factory alarms. Plus, Mother sells car stereos that will make your car go thump, thump, thump. Mother Thump. Save $100 since 1984. Service centers in Austin and San Antonio. Check us out on Facebook or our website, motherswindowtint.com. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPB Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Sure, the players bring some skill to the game, but if I don't put them in my lineup, who cares? Not me. I'm Eric Rubino, fantasy baseball GM and league runner-up 2 of the last 9 years. I use the Progressive Name Your Price tool with options based on my budget. And for a guy that's used to being in control, it fits. Like this runner-up t-shirt. Champ gets a trophy, but you can't wear a trophy. Boom.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The reviews on Alamo water softeners keep pouring in. If you want to hear what customers have to say, then take a look at Yelp or Google Reviews, Nextdoor, or Home Advisor, or Angie's List. They say things like dependable, hardworking, knowledgeable, we couldn't be happier. Best product and customer service of any business in San Antonio. They were incredible to work with, and I'd recommend them to anyone. So if you're in need of a water softener system, water filtration, or water conditioning, call up Alamo Water Softeners today, 210-274-6122, or look them up online at alamowatersofteners.com.
It's been a hell of a year, San Antonio. I'm Chip Ingram, and my bars, the Brew Pub and Angry Elephant, have been closed more than they've been open, and I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, things are getting better. 281 North is open, and football is finally here. Our kitchen is open every day till 2 a.m., and we open for happy hour at 11 a.m. And you know, as our customers say, our food is pretty darn good. So this is me asking you to help a local guy and his staff get back on our feet. Come see us at the Brew Pub and Angry Elephant at 281 North and Redland Road.
You have plenty going on. Let Mom Needs a Break Cleaning take care of your most time-consuming household chore. Mom Needs a Break Cleaning offers residential and commercial services, one-time, recurring, or move-out. Get your house cleaned before Thanksgiving and save 20% when you call 210-815-1399. With our quality assurance program in place, we will make sure you will be 100% satisfied. Call 210-815-1399. That's 210-815-1399. Or go to momneedsabreakcleaning.com. That's momneedsabreakcleaning.com.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contact us to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
You're ready to get back into yoga, so you order the essentials. A non-slip mat, yoga blocks to keep balance, and an exercise ball. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential yoga gear. Noise-canceling headphones.
Welcome. Take a deep breath.
Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Yeah, this season I actually had little business cards made. Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM. You can keep that. Sure, the players are famous, but come game day, I decide their fate. What's that? Oh, you make $20 million? Well, I don't like your attitude. You benched? No, I'd never bench an all-star, but I could. That's also why I like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. With options based on my budget, they never throw me a curveball. It's a little baseball reference for you.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
At CDW, we get the importance of clear communication.
I was on a conference call, and I think my boss asked me to send her roasted beets in a can.
Talk to the experts at CDW. Using Poly headsets and cameras, they'll orchestrate a collaboration solution that lets you hear and see clearly on any device, any meeting platform.
Huh. Looks like she asked me to send her the report sheets when I can. You like beets?
No. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/poly.
KCDC San Antonio.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray of the San Antonio Spurs. You're listening to 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM.
Where the pros play. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. I'm Rob Thompson. Welcome aboard. Socially distanced, the O'Reilly Auto Parts mobile studios up on blocks outside in my backyard. He's James Pledger in the Glass Box of Fun. Jason Minix taking a couple of minutes off as he prepares for a huge high school football game tonight. He's got Johnson and Madison on the docket. We'll have Richard Oliver, his color commentator, on in just a couple of minutes as we look forward to that. But let's do some scenic views. Let's look around the college football landscape with our in-house expert, Taylor McHargue, joining us here on ESPN San Antonio, co-host of the Believe podcast. You can check him out on SEC TV and calling games across the country. And I see you're doing some work with Stephen McGee this week. Welcome aboard, Taylor. How's your day going?
It's good. How are you doing?
Oh, man, living the Friday evening dream. And as we head into a weekend of college football, certainly first and foremost, we got to look at the postponements and the COVID reaction across the SEC and really across the country. Are we reaching a breaking point, Taylor, with more and more suspensions and postponements coming? We heard from Bowlsby today, the commissioner of the Big 12, saying that they've got a little fluid end. There is some play there at the end of the season to make things happen. Are you starting to get concerned that maybe things are going to get postponed and we're going to start losing teams for the year after the cancellation of the Ivy League's fall or winter sports?
I'd be concerned if I was a fan of a Pac-12 or a Big Ten team. This stretch that we're in right now would concern me because their protocols are so strict for getting kids. In the Big Ten right now, if you have a positive case, you're out for 21 days. Well, you're getting into stretches now where you might have a team here soon say, especially on the West Coast, say, we're done, we're packing it up, we're not going to play the rest of the year. If you're in the SEC, I think the SEC today, the big announcement was they're going to allow games to be played on Championship Saturday for the teams that are not in the championship game. So there's more than likely you're going to see a game added back for a lot of these teams that weekend. It's not for the conferences that didn't press the panic button in August. They built in bye weeks for this exact scenario. But it's looking more and more likely that you're going to see, even within your own conference, you're going to see some teams play more games than others. It's just how it's going to play out. I think it's almost certain in the SEC, you're going to have some teams that get their full 10 games and some that don't, or they get 8 or 9. And by the time we get to the end of this thing, maybe they push back the playoff, maybe they don't. But this is not going to be it's anything but normal, as we've already seen. I think you just got to get used to being uncomfortable from now through the end of the year because you're going to see more postponements and see more cancellations.
Taylor McHargue joining us here on ESPN San Antonio, our college football analyst, co-host of the podcast, SEC quarterback that is available today. Before we look forward to this weekend's games, let's look past and look to last weekend. The Georgia-Florida game, how surprised were you by the separation from Florida?
Well, I said I picked Florida to win that game outright, and I said because I thought it's going to turn into a shootout, and Georgia can't keep up in a shootout. And early on in that game, Georgia gets obviously a huge touchdown run. They jump up 14-0, and then relatively quickly, Florida evens the score. And then you saw the difference really in that game from that point on. It was quarterback play, and Florida outclassed them and was able to put up a bunch of points. And that Georgia defense, they've got some injury issues right now, but they're clearly not what they were in the first part of the year. Georgia right now is just hamstringed at that position. The quarterback position, Stetson Bennett is, I think early in the year he showed some moxie, and I loved what he did against Auburn. But as this season plays out, look, these SEC defenses and these coordinators, those guys have paid a lot of money to stop the quarterback on the other side of the ball, and they're figuring out ways to do that. And I think you're seeing now why Stetson Bennett is limited, right? I mean, there's a reason he was a walk-on that goes away, goes to a JUCO, and then comes back. Wasn't a 5-star recruit, and he's playing like that now. And I think it's unfair to hold him to some expectation that he's going to play like a Jake Fromm or like an Aaron Murray.
They're at number 5. Is there any concern if the Aggies miss both Tennessee and possibly and probably Ole Miss the following week that Florida might lap them just because they're available and the Aggies aren't?
Maybe, but I think that their win, I mean, as long as Texas A&M gets some sort of play left in the season, they do have the head-to-head win. And I think the biggest thing for A&M down the stretch is going to be that game at Auburn. That's a huge matchup. If they can go out and perform and win that game. And then Alabama, I think we all assume Alabama plays in the SEC championship. They beat Florida. Now you got Florida there at 2 losses. What you need if you're an A&M fan is you need Notre Dame to struggle down the stretch. You need them to either lose a Wake Forest or just look bad down the stretch and then get blown out with a Trevor Lawrence-led Clemson. If you get that, then A&M still has that chance of getting into the 4 spot.
Taylor McHargue joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. We didn't see, speaking of Notre Dame and Clemson, Notre Dame won the football game. I don't think anybody will argue with the fact that they were probably the better team on that day, but with no Trevor, and certainly I think that's going to play into it. But really, I want to talk about Trevor in his absence. And as he didn't play, so does his lead in the Heisman vote, whatever that might be. If he's down, is De'Aaron King an outside shot at getting a Heisman this year?
He'll be in the conversation. Unfortunately for him down the stretch, he's having to do too much for them. And I imagine, if you look right now, they're dogs on the road to Virginia Tech that just lost to Liberty. So I think there's going to be too much to overcome for him. He's playing fantastic football, though. I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do in his first year at Miami. But I think it's going to be the usual suspects. And Mac Jones, if he keeps playing at the level he's playing at, don't be surprised if he ends up winning the Heisman for Alabama.
It certainly feels Joe Burrow-esque for him, doesn't it? He is he's a marksman downfield for sure. Does he have pro prospects?
I think he does. I think he plays the position like a pro right now. And what I mean by that is he stays within their system and gets it to his playmakers' hands and does a really nice job of being on time and on schedule. And you really don't see him make very many silly plays. I mean, he doesn't give the other team the ball, right? He extends plays every now and then with his feet, but for the most part, you could tell that he's just operating their offense at such a high level. And I think there's pro potential for him. I think there's a handful of guys that are going to get taken over him, but I could see him very much being a second or third round sort of value pick where he goes in and gets groomed up and you never know what happens for him down the line.
The big weekend the game for the Big Ten is Indiana and Michigan State. Indiana's surprising. How good are they? And is Michigan State a good enough roadblock to tell us how good they are?
Well, Indiana's playing fantastic. I mean, I do think the call was blown in week one against Penn State, but Indiana's playing that should have been a Penn State win. I think he was short of the goal line on the touchdown run there, but Indiana's playing at a really high level. And then Wisconsin, this is going to be fascinating because they've got their COVID issues. They play at Michigan, which is we've seen the issue. It's bizarre this year how bad Michigan and Penn State are. I mean, Penn State, when you watch them, Penn State looks legitimately bad. I mean, they've got some serious flaws on both sides of the ball. But I think it's still too soon to tell with the Big Ten. But I will say I don't think there's going to be a challenger this year to Ohio State. I think it's Ohio State and everybody else.
Taylor, as you talked about Penn State, and let's look in the state of Texas. Texas, despite what is turning out to be a pretty good record, the smell of a terrible season, I think, is going to stick around no matter what occurs, unless there's a Big 12 championship, and that ain't going to happen. Given that situation, has James Franklin, head coach up there at Penn State, certainly he's going to be talked about if Texas starts to look for a next head coach. Is a bad season going to affect that, or does it even matter because Urban Meyer's the next guy anyway?
Well, Urban Meyer would be in this. Let's go into the fantasy land of who Texas gets whoever they want. We'll go back to when they were trying to get Nick Saban. If they threw enough money to get Urban Meyer and he actually came out of retirement, he's the guy. He's won everywhere he's ever been. He would be the guy if you can get him. James Franklin has also proven if you can win at Vanderbilt and you can win, Penn State's obviously a blue chip program, but he's a proven winner. This season, I would not put too much stock in what happens one way or another this season, really for anybody. I'm a proponent that unless you've got something just catastrophic going on in your program, your head coach should probably come back next year almost no matter what, especially with this rule that kids can come back. This is a freebie year for these kids. I think you'll get a chance to figure out what are these coaches actually made of when they get guys coming back that you would have never imagined having some of these 60-year seniors. But if you have a chance to get James Franklin for any program out there, I think you obviously have to give him serious consideration. But I'll go back to Tom Herman. It's too soon for me to move off of Tom Herman. He hasn't been there long enough. And he was the shiny toy 4 years ago that every Texas fan wanted. If you stay in this cycle, what happens if James Franklin comes down and in year two, they're 6-6? Do you fire him again? You're talking about the best coaches in all of college football. At some point, you got to look internally and say, what are the issues that we have going on that maybe has nothing to do with the head coach?
Taylor McHargue joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Definitely great insight. Good stuff there. Of all the games going on this weekend, what do you have circled you must watch?
Well, there's a game in the SEC. There aren't very many being played, but the one that I'll be paying closest attention to is Arkansas at Florida. I think Arkansas, obviously with Sam Pittman out, their head coach with COVID, I just love what they're doing. Felipe Franks was the quarterback for Florida last year, transfers, and is now at Arkansas. And this is a different Arkansas team than we've seen in the past. I want to see, is Florida still going to be rolling after that win over Georgia? If they're going to be a championship caliber team, you want to see them continue this momentum. And then there's a handful of others just that I'm interested in. Notre Dame at Boston College is one that will be an interesting matchup. And again, like we talked about for A&M, I will follow Notre Dame down the stretch just to see, do they sputter at all and fall short, or how do they look to close out this season? But Notre Dame BC is another one that I think will be a good matchup.
Completely agree. Scenic views all around. Taylor McHargue here on ESPN San Antonio. Thanks for the knowledge, man. Thanks for stopping by. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.
That sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Go check out his podcast. It's on the Believe Network this week. They're breaking down that Florida-Georgia game. Stephen McGee looks at his, his prodigy there, I guess, another Aggie quarterback, Kellen Mond, and also look at all the week's matchups. It's hosted by Josh Moody, and who we just had, Taylor McHargue. Go check it out there on iTunes. When we come back, the Spurs got new jerseys for fancy nights out. Who's going to be wearing them? We'll look at the trade rumors and the draft just around the corner. And Richard Oliver and Jason Minix will join us as we prep for a fine football game. Johnson and Madison under the lights, playoffs and future in the balance. Hang on tight. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Breakfast with the Blitz every Friday morning at 7:30. Join the Blitz as they talk to Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Breakfast with the Blitz every Friday morning at 7:30. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Injuries happen even during a crisis. When they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, sports injuries, dislocations, and sprains and strains. With 2 locations that have extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury with no urgent care or emergency room copay. Injured? Get to Ortho Now. Visit TSAOG.com/Ortho Now for more information.
After an extraordinary year like this one, Diamonds Direct believes it's time for an extraordinary sale. So starting Monday, November 16th, our annual pre-holiday store-wide sale is taken to a whole new level with 20% and more across-the-board savings. Best prices of 2020 with an expanded selection from all our top designers. It's not 2 or 3 days. It's an entire week of pre-holiday savings, November 16th through 22nd. Our first ever week-long store-wide sale. Don't miss it. 7 straight days of spectacular savings only at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
And Cyril Winton Chevrolet says stop before you buy your new Chevy because it's Black Friday savings all month long at Aunt Cyril Winton Chevrolet on Bandera Road. You'll get super low interest rates, our largest selection of new Chevys, and low and zero prices. Plus, buy a new Chevy, get CC's Pizza till the end of the year. So stop before you buy and come by Aunt Cyril Winton Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy store, right outside Loop 410 on Bandera Road. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, announces you will save on really dark window tint. It's perfectly legal to have really, really dark window tint. Mother's has it all: light, medium, dark, metallized, color stable, scratch resistant, ceramic, and carbon fiber based films. Every tint is a custom fit tint at Mother's Window Tint. Save $100. Save on car alarms that will protect yourself and your family. 24/7 live vehicle monitoring. Remote start your car. Mother's alarm systems provide the features not found on factory alarms. Plus, Mother sells car stereos that will make your car go thump, thump, thump. Mother Thump. Save $100 since 1984. Service centers in Austin and San Antonio. Check us out on Facebook or our website, motherswindowtint.com. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
It's the Blitz Friday night edition. I'm Rob Thompson. Jason Minnick's taking a couple of minutes prepping for Madison Johnson, ESPN San Antonio's high school football game of the week. We got a good one tonight. Madison Johnson going off at 7 o'clock. He's special guest in for Kevin Brock, who had to take the evening off, is the king of all media, as I've been told, Richard Oliver, man about town. He's going to join us here in a couple of minutes when we do high school football. It's brought to you by the best. It's energized by Hill Electric and brought to you by MomNeedsABreakCleaning.com, Smoky Mo's Barbecue, the San Antonio Express News, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and the Sports Institute over TSAG Orthopedics. Johnson and Madison on the docket for 7 o'clock. Going to be a good one tonight. So the news was confirmed today regarding the Spurs City Edition. They've whiffed numerous times with their city editions, and always with silver and black, or gray and black, or white and silver and gray. Every now and then a little bit of shiny aluminum foil look, but never anything overly interesting. And finally, we get the retro, the look back to the 90s, the fast break and Fiesta edition. And by, as an old man stick in the mud, I appreciate it. It looks pretty good. It just harkens back to an era that I choose not to remember. But as we sit, we're under a week away. The draft is in 5 days. And the closer we get to it, the more and more we are seeing rumors with Spurs names involved. And James, as I look at that, I think the names that we're hearing consistently are obviously names with franchises that the Spurs have had relationships with, either by former coaches from Atlanta. A couple of weeks back, we were hearing Atlanta being maybe involved with a deal moving back, and the Spurs jumping up and taking their spot. We've also heard about Golden State with a deal that might involve LaMarcus for their two. We're also hearing players back and forth, bets leaving to the east. Patty Mills being primary there, looking at Milwaukee and Philadelphia. The consistent thread there is a Spur either was a head coach, assistant coach, or general manager in those three different franchises in the very recent past. And when you hear that, that makes even more sense, because that's the way the Spurs do business, with those that they trust. Keep in mind what happened about this time last year, just a little bit earlier than this time last year, with the New York Knicks and the ill-fated contract to one of the Twins who ended up in the Clippers, and all the mess that went with DeMarre Carroll. Their off seasons, at least for the last 2 years, have not been productive. This is the most important draft the Spurs have had since, they brought in Tim. It's the highest they've been able to draft since then. And as the rumors fly, I'm curious, James, as you hear the vets names mentioned, the Patty Mills and DeMar and LaMarcus, what's more important in your near future? Is it exiting large contracts for future value, or is it the draft? Is the draft the key thing that the Spurs should be looking at? And then free agency, DeMar, that situation is going to take care of itself. And LaMarcus, this is a guy who's played a good run. He's able to exit at the end of the year. Doesn't mean he'll be gone forever. It just means it'll be a new contract. It just seems to me that the draft, as I sit, is the most important thing in my mind.
Well, sure, the draft's the most important thing, but you also have to remember LaMarcus and DeMar's contracts both technically expire after this year. Both of them come off the books regardless.
Not technically, they're done.
Yeah, but if you're taking a contract back, it better be a contract of a player with upside that you expect to be a part of this going forward, but you're not taking a contract back as a log that's going to cloud up your books unless you're getting incredible draft resources in return.
How much do you like Thaddeus Young? Not worthy of moving a current starter, one of the poster boys for the brand new uniform, which, by the way, if you've seen it, is minus DeMar DeRozan and minus LaMarcus Aldridge and minus the old vet Patty Mills. It's the young bucks on the picture. You wouldn't consider a Thaddeus Young move, even though he is young and relatively evenly paid with DeMar for a little bit longer term, with essentially the same kind of guy with better defense than a DeMar walking away.
I mean, to be fair, though, as we talk about all those guys, LaMarcus Aldridge was on vacation when they did the photo shoot. Jakob Poeltl's in Austria. Patty Mills was in Australia. Luka was overseas. Brendan, Marco, and DeMar are all prospective free agents because of DeMar's player option. And, Drew Eubanks is a free agent too. And so all these guys...
Yeah. Makes sense.
You can't...
They were there.
Technically have them in that photo shoot because uncertainty of future or just not in the country or not in the city.
That was the expectation. There certainly shouldn't have been anything read into it. But I do think when you publish a picture of your brand new uniform and what most teams use as a way to promote their star, and your stars aren't there, you need to mention that fact as you release the photo that, we don't see DeMar because of the free agency thing. And LaMarcus, well, COVID issues, and Luka and Jakob and all these other guys, just the very bubble idea of keeping everybody safe was not appropriate for flying everybody in. That makes perfect sense, though. The picture you feel like might be the dream starting lineup if we were sitting here this time next year. You know what I mean? Because at that point, whatever DeMar is going to do will have played out. And I'll put this in the book right now. My belief is DeMar is opting into this contract. The Spurs are going to hope that at some point, and getting closer and closer to the All-Star game, that there are a team or two that are very desperate or eager to add that piece that'll put them over the top, and they can make a deal then. I doubt that'll happen given the current financial structure and the luxury tax issues that so many teams are going to deal with. And DeMar's just going to play out the string, and that doesn't mean he'll leave. It just means he's given an opportunity to renegotiate once again. And LaMarcus, I think it will be shocked. I think that the Spurs are going to make every effort to move him, though I don't see how fruitful that's going to be unless the team is absolutely desperate. But I believe both will start the season as Spurs.
By the way, thank you, Jeff Garcia of Spurs Zone, for that information and caveat on the photo shoot and who we saw and who we didn't. But I fully expect both LaMarcus and DeMar to not just be shot, but be moved, whether it's prior to the draft or at the trade deadline. Those guys have deals. They're players that can help a team that's ready to win now. They're both players that can help a team that feels like they're close, and they're both guys that have contracts that come off the books for people that are looking for cap relief to go after, let's say, I don't know, a Giannis Antetokounmpo next offseason. So those are both very, very enticing things if you're trying to trade for these players in terms of the free agent flexibility it gives you in the next offseason, plus the ability to win now. So I do expect them to both be moved. The question is, and as much smoke as we're hearing from all of these different teams looking to get in on these different players, I truly expect it to happen, because if there's this many teams interested in these players and more than one team in all of these players, that means that the value at least rises because teams are bidding against one another to try and acquire their services.
We're going to talk Spurs draft as we get closer and closer next week. The special show set up for you 5:30 on Wednesday, the Silver and Black draft prep. And the days prior, we'll be getting ready as well. 4:30. I want you to put it in your calendar. 4:30 on Monday afternoon, we will be joined by number 9. Tony Parker will join us as he's got a brand new book coming out as well. You want to talk about stuffing the stocking of a great Spurs? You'll have an opportunity there. Tony Parker will be on the Blitz Monday at 4:30. We're excited.
And also, programming note, no Saturday morning hangover tomorrow for all you hangover heads. We have Masters coverage.
Breakfast at the Masters all weekend long. You got the Masters right here on ESPN San Antonio. Hey, let's come back and meet with the king of all media, an old friend and one of the best sports writers I've ever been around, and a great representative of our great city, Richard Oliver, will join us next. We'll talk all things sports and look forward to a fantastic football game as Madison and Johnson are squaring off at Heroes Field. That's where Jason is. We'll join them next here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
The ESPN San Antonio High School Football Game of the Week, energized by Hill Electric. Brought to you by Mom Needs a Break Cleaning, the San Antonio Express News, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, and the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Every Friday night starting at 7.
This ESPN San Antonio Sports Center update is brought to you by Alamo Water Softeners, 274-6122.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
This football season, more than any other, we're all reflecting on the wonder years of football. And in celebrating the heart of America's favorite sport, we've got a bold snack that'll help rekindle some really great memories. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors you crave, like Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill, and more. Get them at HEB. Because, hey, pigskins and pigskins, they go together. Visit porkrinds.com to see how you can win $5,000 when you celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day with Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Here's how we long for Skechers Arch Fit shoes. If you've never tried Arch Fit shoes from Skechers, you're missing out on next level comfort. Saying you like comfort but not trying Arch Fit is like saying you like Italian food but you've never tried pasta. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists who used over 20 years of data to create a shoe that provides total foot and arch support for all day comfort. Arch Fit distributes support across the arch no matter what foot type you have. You don't need an arch problem to love how they feel.
See all the styles of machine washable Arch Fit shoes now at Skechers.com.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
There's no place like home for the holidays or HomeDepot.com for holiday decor with great low prices on decorations inside and out, like artificial trees to light up the living room, outside lights and playful inflatables to bring joy to the neighborhood. Order holiday decor online and you'll even get free delivery. Holiday decorating improved with a wide assortment of holiday decor plus free online delivery from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done while supplies last.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
As a minimalist, paying less for insurance is more.
Nice place. Is your house a bubble?
It's a dome. I find corners unnecessary.
At Liberty Mutual, that's how we feel about overpaying for insurance.
But I do miss having shelves.
What would you put on them?
Nothing, obviously.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Wouldn't it be great if everything came with more? Like if your new computer came with unlimited tech support. When you choose a Medicare plan from United Healthcare, you get more. Like plans that have dental and vision coverage, plus hearing coverage. Call United Healthcare at 1-800-364-1360 to get Medicare with more. Remember, Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th.
Benefits and availability may vary by plan and location. More plans based on a year-over-year comparison with United Healthcare plans.
It's the Blitz. You're on ESPN San Antonio. As always, the Blitz is brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Jason Thompson. If you need an aggressive, experienced litigation attorney you can trust, call Jason Thompson. Since 1994, he's represented individuals and families all around San Antonio and helped them get through some of the toughest times in their lives. Let him handle the insurance companies so you can focus on your family and your health. The number to call, 210-900-0400. His website, alawyer4us.com. The phone call is discussing your case with him is free of charge and without any obligation. I would like to welcome back the great Jason Minix, and I see the lovely mug of Mr. Richard Oliver. Go to ESPNSA.com. That's a face we don't get to see nearly as often as we should. Thanks for blessing us today, Richard. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to have you on the call tonight.
I think Rob sounds melodious.
Melodious.
That's my word of the day. I heard Rob's voice, and I thought, that's very melodious.
As long as you don't take the mellow off.
That's very odious. No, man, Rob, it's good to see you, even from afar, man. A fellow Aggie, Jason. You're in an Aggie sandwich right now, buddy.
Hook 'em.
Oh God. Oh God. Hey, at least UT's playing
I'm
football.
proud of that. Hook 'em. Yeah, they're trying.
They're trying.
Well, Richard Oliver joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. And before we dive into sports, I want to catch up with you just a little bit. And in your function with your gig down with the city of San Antonio and all that, the lighting of the Riverwalk was really an interesting move by the mayor. And for those of us who spent time downtown and working with types that seemed to be genuinely surprised, tell me about the thought process behind that and how we're going to react to bringing folks down to see these beautiful lights.
Hey, listen, I don't, and actually I was as surprised as anybody. I mean, I knew that it was in this discussion mode to try to get those lights on a little bit early. And it's been kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I even watched football last week, and on Sunday, all the commercials are holiday commercials.
Well,
everything.
It's because Black Friday sales started.
It started
all
already,
month long, so we don't have to rush out and overcrowd a store.
But I will say this, Rob, those lights are beacons, man. People love that. And I think this year in particular, I think people are really going to be drawn to be able to be outside to see those gorgeous lights and just kind of, it's a sense of normalcy, A, and B, just it's in a very complicated time. It's a very positive thing. It's a lot of fun to see them.
So how did they decide, like we've got the lights, are the guys not doing much? Let's move up the schedule and put them up. I didn't see anything about there's going to be this big normal lighting ceremony that we normally have. It's all of a sudden, I see in the news that the mayor zoomed in and we turned on Christmas lights.
Yeah, and now keep in mind that's just for a portion of the Riverwalk too. They're going to do a little bit bigger, but the Ford Holiday River Parade has been scrubbed this year.
Yep.
A lot of the things that they usually do that's kind of ceremonial, but that goes along with turning on those lights, usually occurs this time around. That didn't happen. So, and also, a lot of those lights are up. They're up by this time anyway. I mean,
right.
they've been doing this work.
Are we those people that leave them up year round?
No,
we take them down. Take them down.
We take them down. I'm just saying that they are already. The process is already there. Come on, Jason. Your lights are up. Your trees are already up.
My tree is not, but my lights are on the house.
I know,
they're already up. They really are.
Jason's our elf on the shelf.
Birds are building nests in your lights, man. They've been up all year. Come on.
We keep Jason as our elf on the shelf all year long.
Yeah, exactly.
We always act as if Jason's sitting on the shelf watching us.
Fight me. I am.
He keeps moving every day.
I will say, man, I tell you what, my family, my wife, my kids are just Christmas crazy this year. And I think it's just because, man, it's been a crappy year.
We need
it. We absolutely need that, Merry, the word Merry Christmas, Merry takes on a whole new meaning this year.
It does. Socially distanced down on the river, you can certainly partake in a wonderful thing that San Antonians so desperately need. And as a guy who spent a lot of time down there in that Riverwalk, that does mean a lot to those folks. And come on down. It's safe to be outside and walk and partake of our great city during this difficult times. Just follow the measures, wear your mask, and go spend your money. We need it. Richard Oliver joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. He's going to be calling the Johnson-Madison game. We'll get to that in just a second. As we get closer and closer to the draft, Richard, what do you make of all the trade rumors that you're hearing? Is it expected because of the expiring contracts or because it feels like this is a team in transition? There's some legitimacy to this.
I don't know about you guys. I actually go with the latter. I really feel like the Spurs are in a situation where they're at a crossroads. There's a lot of things that are about to change. And, and I've been thinking a lot about this over this because obviously we all love the Spurs. We love what they've done. We know we love the era that was. And obviously our expectations each and every year are that's what we're gunning for. We're gunning for championships and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know what? Those expectations are different now. And we're looking at a team that's got an evolution taking place now, not only in what's going to happen with the head coach here in another year or two, but also – guys, and I ask you this question, Jason and Rob, both of you guys, are the Spurs, let's just say they expand the playoffs. Let's say you get 10 in per conference. Are the Spurs have any better shot with LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan on the roster than if they weren't and you were going with some of the young Greyhounds and doing some different things? I will posture that I just don't see that DeMar DeRozan or LaMarcus Aldridge are the guys that take a team and say, you know what? Let me put you on my shoulders. I'm going to carry us to that next level. I'm not sure they're capable, and I think that the Spurs need to get something for those guys before their contracts are gone.
There's not a team, and I look at look at the teams from the West that didn't make the playoffs. I think the playoff teams that were in Orlando are going to be pretty consistent, but you're going to have a healthy Golden State that's going to be right there at the top, especially if they add a LaMarcus Aldridge for that number 2 pick, which I'm down for. You look at New Orleans and you look at Phoenix, and then you figure in San Antonio. So even if they were to go to 10, I don't see the Spurs being a playoff team. I want something for DeMar so that I don't feel like we lost Kawhi for absolutely nothing. And if you can keep adding to whatever Kawhi had in his wake, I feel good with that if you're getting quality in return. I don't want to see DeMar walk, opt out, or opt in this year and then leave next year in free agency and the Spurs get nothing for him.
That's exactly right. And I think, when you look at DeMar DeRozan, he's a great guy, and apparently he's a great locker room guy. And I will say, and you guys watched it in Orlando, I thought he was outstanding. I thought this was a guy that said, you know what, I'm surrendering self to work with these young guys. And he was a team player in that Orlando bubble, almost, took over in the fourth quarter when he needed to. He did those kind of things. But I would see him let's just say he goes to the Lakers, and he's a third option, maybe a fourth option. And that's what DeMar DeRozan is. I really feel like, we could talk about him being a premier player, a spearhead type of player for a franchise. I just don't see it. I don't think that he's that guy. I think he's a guy that's going to step up and be your number 3 option. The Spurs are counting on him to be something bigger than that.
Absolutely. That very familiar voice you hear. Well, that's Richard Oliver. He's about to call a football game with Jason Minix. We got Madison and Madison and Johnson, a real game coming up. No disrespect to Jeff, but a big football game coming up.
That's so sad when he said that. I thought of Richard Jefferson immediately. Richard Jefferson against Madison out there.
Not that guy. I think I need to check that Jim Beam bottle behind you, see if it got emptied in the last half hour.
It is still completely full.
After talking to Jim Gray, did you have to have a drink or two?
Yeah.
Hey, it is Friday. It is after 7. Richard Oliver joining us here.
It's not after 7.
Well, it is someplace. Richard, we look at the Spurs prospects, certainly, and I want to get your input on a lot of different things. The Dallas Cowboys season has been interesting, to say the least, and an utter debacle, to tell the truth. As we sit in the bye week looking forward to this season, what's your altitude on the Cowboys, just generally? Do you look forward to the games now? Are you feeling better today than you did a couple of weeks ago, or is it just a train wreck that you could make or miss? It doesn't really matter.
I'm going to say something crazy about this. I'm going to go back to that Eagles game. If let me just throw ifs at you. Okay. If DiNucci, is that how you say now? He was here benched. Benched DiNucci. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left. They're in that ball game against the Eagles. It's crazy to think about in the NFC East that they are in that. That's where the Eagles are as well. It's a statement about the Eagles. If that play hadn't happened and the Cowboys had gone down and done something, they were driving, they're doing something, we would have a completely different conversation right now. I'm telling you. This is crazy when you think about it. I'm Mr. Glass half full here, but I'm just saying when you think about the Cowboys in the NFC East, which is maybe the worst division
in all of football, in the history of football,
since 1960. I don't know. I just think of those kind of things, and then when you see how the Cowboys managed to play against the Steelers when they got up on their hind legs last week and actually played some football, especially on defense, I'm telling you, it would have been a completely different conversation right now.
Do you see the opportunity?
Am I crazy?
Well, no, you're not. And I do. There was a level of play that the Cowboys reached last week, despite the win, that I didn't think they would be able to match or to find. Right. And there does appear to be the potential for some wins in the future. I'm just curious if you think it's worth going after them.
Oh, I don't know. People, every year in and year out, whether the Cowboys are 2-6 or 6-2 or going into a season, I guarantee you, Rob, next year, because this is the Cowboys are a little bit like the Lakers, and they're a little bit like some of these teams. People are going to be pegging them as a Super Bowl contender next year.
Yep.
It is a chronic disease each and every year that people look at the Cowboys, especially in the state of Texas, with tremendous hope and optimism.
Well,
and it's
they're always a Super Bowl contender, whether it's Quincy Carter with the star on his helmet, or things go the right way this year, and it's Trevor Lawrence as a rookie leading the Cowboys to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, and everything is. I don't want to say realistic, but can the Cowboys win the NFC East this year? Yes. Could they also trip into the number 1 overall pick? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because the NFC East is so bad, both are true statements.
And have you taken a look at the Eagles schedule?
Well, the Eagles' schedule is rough, but the Cowboys have 3 games with NFC East opponents. And if they win those 3 games against NFC East opponents, they'll win the NFC East.
Yeah. And believe me, I'm not being Pollyanna. I'm talking about how remarkable this situation is. I'm not saying, hey, look at these Cowboys, here they go. So if you want to look at the Cowboys in that way, if you have that kind of bubbly spirit, heading into the holidays, hey, you know what? I'm going to dream big. The Eagles have a really rough schedule. What if Andy Dalton he's got Zach Martin back? What the line is all of a sudden decides he's not going to run for his life, and he still has those receivers to throw to. Listen, it's the NFC East, man. I'm telling you. The Eagles, they're trying to get rid of Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. You read the stuff and all the things coming out of there. Well, nobody's happy in Philly.
You used to cover the NFL in the Northeast when you were working for Newsday?
Yeah.
You know how East Coast fans are.
Oh, yeah. They're
trying to run everybody out of town, whether they're great or not. Although I think we saw last week Garrett Gilbert better than Carson Wentz in the NFC East.
Exactly. Maybe the best quarterback in the division. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to put a bow on the show. We got to get a break or James is going to have a heart attack. We're going to put a bow on the show. Get ready for a great high school football game. Richard Oliver and Jason Minnick
Cowboys are still alive, Rob. Still alive.
Hold on tight. You're on the Blitz
this week.
1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com.
The first thing on our bucket list? Fill the bucket with ice-cold beer.
Woohoo!
San Antonio's sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
Injuries happen even during a crisis. When they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, sports injuries, dislocations, and sprains and strains. With 2 locations that have extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury with no urgent care or emergency room copay. Injured? Get to Ortho Now. Visit TSAOG.com/Ortho Now for more information.
It's been a hell of a year, San Antonio. I'm Chip Ingram, and my bars, the Roo Pub and Angry Elephant, have been closed more than they've been open, and I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, things are getting better. 281 North is open, and football is finally here. Our kitchen is open every day till 2 a.m., and we open for happy hour at 11 a.m. And as our customers say, our food is pretty darn good. So this is me asking you to help a local guy and his staff get back on our feet. Come see us at the Roo Pub and Angry Elephant at 281 North and Redland Road.
We're the Zaggies, official sponsor of the college football playoff, and we're here to say it's smooth, and it's refreshing. We'll say the tailgates, ice now. D-O-S-C-Q-U-I-S, the Zaggies, that sells beer.
For your next tailgate here in San Antonio, grab some ice-cold Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York. Copyright 2020.
The Camera Exchange is having their biggest sales event of the year. The Camera Exchange 2020 Virtual Expo, November 20th and 21st. 2 days to save from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in-store and 24 hours online at CameraX.com. Camera Exchange will have Facebook Live demos with every vendor with raffle prizes for those who participate, including $50, $100, $200 gift cards from the Camera Exchange, $400 gift certificate towards any Tamron lens, Fujifilm N-Stax SP3 printer, Canon IV Rec camera, a tripod, and more. Check CameraX.com for the schedule. The Camera Exchange 2020 Virtual Expo, November 20th and 21st. Get tax-free on all Canon products, excluding the EOS R5 and R6. Get an extra 15% off towards your trade-in. 15% off all Ceramonic products. 20% off all Litra products. 25% off all ICANN products. 20% off all MagMod. The Camera Exchange, 1 mile inside Loop 410 on San Pedro. Online at CameraX.com.
Diamonds Direct's doing something we've never done before. A spectacular 7-day store-wide event with 20% off and more. Virtually everything. It's all next week, November 16th through the 22nd. This is the pre-holiday sale everyone waits for. Taken to a whole new level for 2020. Get 20% off all designer and fashion jewelry, all eternity bands, earrings, bracelets, bigger selection, lowest prices, special incentive, an extraordinary sale for an extraordinary year. November 16th through 22nd only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
We're going spinal here on the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio. 94.5 FM on the go at ESPNSA.com. I'm seeing some stuff coming through the Twitter sphere and some direct messaging. Yes, we are carrying the Johnson-Madison football game live streamed. If you can't make it social distance and you want to check it out, we got you a restaurant quality call tonight. Jason Minnick, one of the fine professional play-by-play callers you can find anywhere in the country, joined by the king of all media, Richard Oliver. Great football game tonight. Finally one dude that's got playoff implications, great stars, and great tradition. Jason, tell us a little bit about what we could expect tonight.
Well, I mean, Johnson and Madison, 28-6A showdown. And you look at Johnson, not surprising they're having a good season with the amount of talent that they were returning this year. But with the first-year coach, I didn't really know what to expect, especially with the COVID offseason that they had to come in and implement stuff. I will say we had Johnson and Roosevelt last week, and they look like the Johnson team that I've seen, since 2008, or the last 5-6 years under Ron Ritterman with the talent, but the offense, which, you look at Mark Soto, who, was a Judson grad, but what they were trying to do or what they were doing in San Marcos, I mean, it's similar offenses. So that probably made the transition easy.
And what's interesting about Johnson is as good as they're playing, as well as they're playing this year, they'll tell you, the coaches will tell you, and I know Mark Soto's talked about it, the idea that they're still very inconsistent. But boy, when you looked at that last week's game, which I wasn't here, and it must have been it was a marathon. I know 960 yards of offense or whatever it was between those two teams. But I think part of that, you saw that last week. Johnson kept getting out ahead. Here comes Roosevelt, give up a couple of big plays, and that's what's going to be interesting tonight, Rob, is you watch Johnson against a Madison team that's all about the big play. Those guys, they just rack them up, and so Blaine Peterson's got those guys on offense doing some really special things. So if you had 900-some yards last week, you and I may be in for a treat offensively tonight.
Well, and the difference, I think, too, is while Roosevelt has a solid offense, there's a few more weapons here with the Madison Mavericks, and they're able to respond with a lot of big plays. So we might see a whole bunch of offense tonight. I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of offense tonight.
You can watch it live on our live stream, Facebook, ESPNSA.com. Jason Minnick and Richard Oliver on the call tonight. Our ESPN San Antonio High School Football Game of the Week is energized to you by Hill Electric and brought to you by MomNeedsABreakCleaning.com, Smoky Mo's Barbecue, the San Antonio Express News, Southern Recipes, Small Batch Pork Rinds, and the Sports Institute over there at TSA OG Orthopedics. This has been a huge week for the Blitz. We have our 4 finalists for Rock the Mic. We want to congratulate Nick Solis, Robert Silver, Quinn Hudson, and Ryan Bartlett to making it to the nut cutting round. We got our final 4. We're going to work through them all next week. We're excited to have them on air. Next week, we got the Spurs draft. Got a party for you at 5:30. Tony Parker will be joining the Blitz on Monday at 4:30. Put that in your calendar and smoke it. Yeah, he's got a brand new book coming out next week, and TP will join us as we talk all things NBA as he gets an opportunity to kind of tell his story. We're excited about having him on. All right, Richard Oliver, it's been a long time since I've spoken with you. And it's always a pleasure for you to meet up with you because you always make me feel so much better about myself and my great city. Tell me something wonderful about the city that I haven't heard or thought about in quite some time.
Well, I'll tell you this about San Antonio that makes it kind of magical is the one thing that we found out that over the last few weeks is that people who come into San Antonio, they keep telling us the one thing in this kind of climate with what's going on with the coronavirus, the pandemic, Rob, they just feel like they're treated like family when they come here. And we get that time and time again. And how important is that right now? How is it important to know, what, I'm going to go someplace where I feel safe, where I feel like it's a warm place to be in a very difficult time. And that's always kind of been our mark. When you talk about usually welcoming 40 million visitors a year, it's because you do something right. And one of them is that we just treat people with respect and warmth and safety and welfare and all those different things. And so all that stuff is in place right now. That's for sure.
And it's our turn as San Antonians to take care of those downtown. Go down to the Riverwalk. You can socially distance. You can put on your mask, and you can enjoy our great city and all the benefits we have. Those lights are spectacular, unique in the world. Go celebrate what we have. I'm looking forward to a great game. Richard Oliver, Jason Minish coming up next for high school football.
Breakfast with the Blitz. Every Friday morning at 7:30. Join the Blitz as they talk to Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy.
Well, hey, I got a news flash. There's the tacos just showed up. Oh,
Yes,
my
sir.
God. I just can't thank you both enough. It was a huge hit.
Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Breakfast with the Blitz. Every Friday morning at 7:30. 1250 ESPN San Antonio. 94.5 FM. And on the